Test one. Welcome back to the Graybeard Podcast. And welcome back, my very good friend, Russell Arimenta of Soscenic Photography. Give it up for Uncle Russ.
Day one.
That's right, day one. I think you actually were my first ever interview.
Podcast on a pool table.
Yeah. Well, but do you remember? Yeah, you remember when we did the one that was just audio?
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even video that.
That's right.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's right. I remember that. I was actually
were the days.
stalking the old page back, on my way over here. So
Were you?
just listening to some old stuff and
Was someone driving you?
making
or
sure I don't. No,
was your Tesla on auto drive?
The car was on auto drive. I'm always on auto drive. Come on.
Yeah, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't think I could do it. Do you think you could do that? Like ride down the road?
Within a minute, we're already starting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It took a minute.
My brain just goes, man.
Turn.
Plus, it's been so long since I've seen you. I just like shooting it breeze with you.
It has been a long time.
Yeah, it's been too long. Too long. Far too long.
I'm trying to get my wits back after being
Your bearings.
On vacation for the first time in like.
Were you on vacation?
I was actually on vacation.
Did you
I
actually
spent,
vacation?
Well, no. Who am I kidding? My clients were asking for things, and I was working after the family went to sleep. I was, editing photos.
Of course you were.
Cutting video and creating reels and doing all the stuff that we do, especially during fashion weeks and swim weeks and stuff like that. There's like a good 2.5 weeks worth of follow-up content that needs to be done.
More than a wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, video and photos. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually cutting video this morning that I didn't even realize I had filmed because I filmed so much. And I was like, this is actually really good. I'm like,
the lost footage.
I need to start making some reels because this stuff's really like too good to just sit around.
Yeah.
I did have a little bit of a challenge this time, even though the trip was better. I had a little bit of a challenge because I have upgraded and downsized my gear. I have two R3s now.
Okay.
Which are both sports-focused cameras. They're heavy. They're professional bodies. So it's like the old 1DX kind of size thing.
No external battery pack necessary.
No, which was great, but my gear's heavy. And when I'm having to move with Chris during fashion weeks and tight rooms and constantly getting, to the seats and all of that stuff, gear kind of bounces around a lot.
Yeah.
I was happy that the gear was more durable, but last year I shot with an R8 as a travel camera.
Okay.
Put all my big lenses on it, but it was a smaller body. And it seemed like it was a little bit more user-friendly. Either that or I'm just getting old and I'm a complete wimp now and I can't hold my gear up as much as I used to.
You look fairly strong to me, sir.
Well, after a week of carrying that gear around, I was kind of like lifting
I could
weights,
see the indentations from where your straps were pulling all that shit down.
But it was it was fun. It's nice. Every time I go to Miami with Chris, it's a good time, a great experience.
Yeah.
But I've found that each time that I've gone, more and more people recognize me. It's probably more the glasses than it is me because I'm just some little old guy that's following Chris around. But at the end of the day,
I'm the only one that can self-deprecate here.
Character matters. Being a good person matters. Not necessarily being nice, but being a good person matters. And I've really taken to the role there.
Daddy?
And so I just know more like I basically run a lot of the BTS content and then security and then transportation and then we're trying to add some additional things onto that and stuff like that, but it gets to be a whirlwind. Me and Chris are.
You mean Chris is trying to add some stuff?
We work together. We work together on a lot of different things, but he's a machine when it comes to all the content that you see was filmed. Like everything that you see on NYC Lavish's page during Swim Week down in Miami is all mine.
Right.
It's all stuff that I've shot. In about 95% of it, but I'm basically filming, airdropping the phone footage instantly, and then he is crafting it and editing it in the car while we're driving to the next event. And we're having to keep up with everything, and then keep up with how many outfits we have for the week, how many different posts he's going to have the following week, who are we shooting with, what brands are sponsoring us, what brands are shooting with us, what content we need to film for those brands, the
he
places
doesn't
we're
have
staying.
like an assistant or something.
You know, he has an assistant at each of the big places.
Okay.
So when you have like Paris Fashion Week, he's got people in Paris
Okay.
that work with him.
Right.
I like to think now, after 3.5 years of doing this, that I'm his Miami person.
I got you.
I think I need to probably start looking and branching into how do I turn that more into I can do a lot more of the scheduling and planning for him, so all he has to do is show up. But at the end of the day, that's a for-profit business, and so I can't. There are certain things that I can do, and there's certain things that I don't have the ability or time to be able to handle at this point.
Comfortably. You don't want to take on too much and then give shitty work.
You know, and that's really exactly, and that's 3 weeks out of my life, 2 to 3 weeks out of my life every year. So that's my corporate vacation. Then I have my corporate job, and now I have this budding sports business, which is no longer a budding sports business. Now it is a full-on. We've signed our 50th clients and starting.
Nice.
And it's just gotten so much traction because we are really focused on providing professional quality to high school and college athletes. More importantly, to their parents. You go to these games and these parents are sitting there with their phones, and you can see them all. They're tired from working all day. They're sitting there having to make sure they get every video, every swing, every bat, and they're exhausted. And I've come in and said, "Hey, look,
I got you.
You know what? You want a video with your phone, whatever moment, fine. But I'll capture your photos. I'll get moments. I'll get the moments that I can, as much as I can. We'll give you a certain amount of images for, a certain amount of games or whatever. And it gives them memories that they don't have to worry about creating. They can just enjoy them. And then they can just sit there, relax,
actually enjoy the game.
Enjoy watching their kids play, because before you know it, your kids, Kira's 20 now. Like, how we get there? When we first met each other, she was 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's it's unbelievable how fast time goes.
Oh, man. And it's only going faster.
Yeah. And so, I like where the sports business is going. I have some potential big things on the horizon that I'm hoping come to fruition. It'll be easier when Kira graduates in the spring, 26. But you never know. I'm not going to plan on that either, because that girl's going places, and she'll have a job before she even gets out of college.
She might leave you in the dust, homie.
Yeah. So I'll be working for her. I always joke around. I'll be the old guy in the corner and go, "Hey, can I take your picture?"
Yeah. Creepy. Yeah. No, and that's cool, man. Honestly, that would be like something that I would love. That, like, if I got hired by my kid to do a job that I love to do.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do it. But it just means that you did a good job, teaching work ethic.
And here comes the Father's Day plug.
Woo! No, but since you said that, I would like to take the time to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, the three of us in here, and to everyone out there. And I hope you all have a great Father's Day. And I know you're going to end up cooking, you're going to end up cutting the grass, you're going to end up doing all the things that we do, but we enjoy it. I pay somebody to do most of that shit for me. I don't do that anymore.
Ooh, Mr. Bougie over here.
Nope. It ain't about being bougie.
I got done sitting front row at a fashion week and drove 5 hours home and mowed my lawn before the sun set. Are you kidding?
I don't care about my yard. I wouldn't care even if I was in an HOA. I'd just be like, just keep finding me, because I'm not gonna. I don't care.
My neighborhood would find the hell out of me, and I'm not even going there.
Yeah. Well, and that's just one of those stupid things that I think that It's just grass. Grass is weeds. They grow. Whatever. You know.
We could go into a very long conversation about how you're wrong in that, but that's okay.
And inside my own head, as I'm saying it, I know I'm wrong because I know that I used to be that guy. Yeah. But we're not here to talk about that.
I like property value.
Yeah. Well, you can just clean that up before you leave.
You can't just clean
it up. Work. Do the landlord special.
Dude, I have been to some people's houses where they haven't touched their yard in 3 or 4 years.
It's just well, you're at one now.
Yeah.
Somebody's touched it.
Hey, let's keep it peace on the PG-13 side in case he's got.
We're good.
Nah, we want to be good. We want you to have some good sound bites.
There you go.
Good sound bites. No, but I have been. I'm trying to fix your cable line.
There's no fixing it.
I
do the same thing.
Kicking in.
I know. I do the same thing. It's kind of giving me something to do. You know, I put these little rubber knobbies on here because I was tired of picking this thing back up and putting it on the table.
At some point, we're going to have to pan a camera or something so people don't think we're doing something.
I put these nipples on the table.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah.
But no, it's been fun. It's been a fun summer.
How was it? So swim week was your vacation?
No, I actually had a family reunion that took place literally the day after I got back from swim week. Mm-hmm. And so I had to transition from Miami's craziness to Destin and retirement and
slow down.
A slower pace, we'll just say. And that can be a little bit of a challenge. My wife always jokes around that I'm a different person when I get back from Miami for a few days. Mm-hmm. So she was a little bit worried, but I think I did a good job of keeping it under control. And
you had a detox from Miami.
I kind of braced my client ahead of time saying, hey, look, my normal availability right after swim week is not going to be as open as it usually is. Because if I'm at a dinner or an event or anything, I'm not pulling my laptop up and editing photos of swim week. It's just not happening. So I can do it later at night or whatever. I said it might take me a little bit longer, but you'll still get your content. And the content this year I think was good. My challenge this year was the coordinators, the PR people are putting us in different spots at all these different shows, even when you're at the same show. Mm-hmm. Like it's a different night or whatever, a different designer, and we're getting put in different spots. So you never know what lens to have with you, especially if you're trying to minimize the amount of gear that you have with you because you're worried about getting on camera flash photography of him with guests and him with special guests and VIP people and stuff like that, and then completely switch with the same gear to slow motion video of runway.
Well, I know you normally bring 2 cameras with you.
I do, and I had both my R3s with me, but I couldn't just lug both of those things around. And so I think I'm probably going to drop this year. I'm probably going to buy that new 24 to 105 2.8.
Okay.
Because it has image stabilization in it. Mm-hmm. It's really crisp. A very big sports photographer, Logan Bowles, was using it, and I asked him about it, and he said it was super sharp.
It seems like a large.
It is. It's like this
focal length of a stretch.
Yeah,
to go.
It looks like the size of a 70 to 200, fully extended.
Yeah.
And so, but it'll cover everything with one lens, one body. I don't have to worry about,
That's why I only ever shoot with this 24 to 70.
And so I have a 28 to 70, which has been great. It's a monster, it's a gigantic lens, but
also why I went with a 24 to 70.
But I'm doing so much sports work.
Yeah.
That I have a 300 millimeter lens, and then I always have a second camera body with a second lens on it. And I'm often fighting with, do I just use like a 24-1.4? Do I use my 28 to 70, or do I use an 85 for really bad light? Because high school fields notoriously have bad lighting.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm always battling that conversation. And I used to be like, well, I'll just have 4 cameras, and I'll just leave a lens on each, and I'll just bring all 4 cameras. I look at these guys, and I don't know how they're surviving. I see a lot of the big NFL photographers are now walking with 3. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, come on. I'm like, what are we going to do? Are we going to get to like the silly dudes that you see on Instagram with like the 6 gigantic lights on the top of them looking like a transformer? I'm like, like, what are we doing? You know, AI is going to replace most of us, but sports photography, I think, is the one business where it's not going to for a while.
I think that photography in general is safe.
In some cases, I agree, but my concern with like AI and stuff like that we were talking about is like the fashion industry, and I saw it at Swim Week this year. There were a couple of designers that were AIing shows, putting together AI models and virtual shows that they could literally change their clothes and put on the model while they're walking down the runway. Mm-hmm. And people can just access it virtually and see the line. And you like look at that and you go, in 5 years, I could see that replacing actual runway shows because people are not going to want to leave their living room. Or
that's the models. That's the runway models. That's that whole deal. But like that doesn't mean the photographers.
Right, but you have makeup artists. You have hairstylists. You have designers. You have coordinators. You have the PR people. You have all the people that are backstage that do an amazing job at these shows. I worry about that job. Because that job completely changes from that perspective.
Yeah.
Photography, though, and sports, especially, the reason why I'm almost a little bit switched almost completely to that niche now is that sports photography is not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Yes, you could have an AI camera that could capture moments from stadiums or whatever. Nothing captures the moment like a photographer that knows how to anticipate the moment happening.
That's what I mean. And I mean, last week
that's your soundbite there, Patrick.
Last week our guest Ryan Newhouser, he was he's a graphic designer and he does a lot of work in Jacksonville for the city of Jacksonville and other whatever you call it, other businesses around here. Mm-hmm. But he uses AI a lot, and we talked heavily about AI and like taking over certain. He was talking about how there's a lot of kids that are going to college right now to become graphic designers, and they're all like pulling their hair out because like AI, you can just do it with AI, But to what we were kind of talking about was, you can do some of that stuff, but I feel like if we utilize that as a tool, then it's different. It moves it into a separate category. It's like, okay, I'm still relevant, but I just use this new tool. I mean, and you think about it. Lightroom, Photoshop, it all has been integrated with AI.
The editing is fantastic. I love all the different, even the cleanup mode on photos on your iPhone.
Yeah.
If you actually want to remove something on your phone, it's ridiculously good. So the technology is there, but I don't know where that line ultimately draws, and so I'm trying to stay away from like genres that are not. You get to a point as a photographer after a while that, especially as a paid photographer, we were talking about this earlier, that sometimes money kind of ruins.
Yeah.
I had a very good friend who I work for say to me recently that if the best advice she could give my daughter was don't worry about the dollar amount that's assigned to the project.
Okay.
Focus on the work. Do the work. Do the right work. Work with the right people.
Who was telling her this?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay, sorry.
So it's one of my clients, basically, an agency that I work for. I was talking to her, and she's like, don't let her harp on whether the gig pays you $100 or $500. Don't get stuck on that. Focus on providing a style, providing a work, learning your craft, really providing your value, and the work will come. There are times where the right people will see your work that will turn into money you never even knew.
I get it.
And that's something like I think a lot of the kids don't seem to get. Everybody's stuck on I need to
make this much money.
I need to make this much money.
I need to make my bag.
I need to make $5,000 to $10,000 a month in photography. I get that. That's great. If you can do that, that's fantastic. But you're going to have to do that with at least 5 different income streams. Or you're going to have to be a wedding photographer.
Yeah, that's the reality of it.
If you're a wedding photographer, you can pull that. Because wedding prices now, you could do 2 weddings a month and you can pull that easy. But outside of wedding photography, you have to sell presets, you have to sell courses, you have to sell mentorships, one-on-ones, what all these guys seem to be doing is trying to find rollover clients consistently to pay you every month, whether it's somebody viewing you for access or subscribing to your channel or whatever. Everybody needs all these different income streams, and it's become such a business that everybody has seemingly forgotten about why we did this in the first place. It's art. I still find joy in editing photos. I still find joy in editing all of my photos. I still find joy in giving more photos than I promised. Even to a detriment to most of my mentors have told me, you got to stop giving so much away. And I'm like, you know what? My clients trust me to do the job.
Yeah.
So when clients hire me, they pay me up front. They don't pay me. I don't go and just work. They pay me up front. Then I show up, then I shoot, then I give them the content, and they're happy. If they're not happy, they'll let me know. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm sure it will, and I'm sure it could happen. If it does, we do everything in our power to make it right, if we can. If not, we reshoot, we redo, we do whatever. But the bottom line is, I'm still enjoying the process of creating it. And that's why it hasn't, and that's why I'm a little bit different than a lot of the cats out there that have gotten burnt out real quick, is because I don't mind. I'm very much Gary V. I don't mind the work.
Yeah.
The shoveling through the shit to make sure I find exactly the right photo and culling video until 2 o'clock in the morning and not sleeping all that much. That stuff I live for. It's a grind. It's I know people are like, oh, you're this age or that age and you shouldn't be doing this. You should be getting more sleep and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I'm going to do what I'm going to do until my last breath, period. That's just the way it is. And whether it's healthy for me or not is irrelevant because that's only a opinion that someone has.
I think it's a good for you. I think that the more active you are, the better health you are. I mean, you don't want to be a lump on the log. I mean, when you become stagnant, and that's when things start falling apart. That's when your muscles start atrophying. Your cardio slips, all the things, all your bones start getting brittle. It's just like, at a certain age, these things happen. And if you don't continue to move, you have to exercise. You got to do something.
Yeah.
So I think that with you being, working a full-time job, doing photography, it seems like you're doing it, to me, to the average person watching your content, I'm like, this dude never stops working. I'm very I'm proud of you, and I'm very envious at the fact that you can, not the fact that you got, I don't, let me clarify, because some people are like, don't be like that. I'm not jealous. I do like you. I love you. You're my brother. But like I'm envious that you have the energy to continue to do all this work, because I find myself falling into what, that category of that guy that got burnt out. Yeah. And I did it to myself. I know this. I did all the burning out to myself. I went about it the completely wrong way. I think my problem was not listening to some people that were trying to help me get into a different space with the business side,
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's not, the business part of it is not for everybody.
It's not.
I can't stand the fact when I watch even my mentors, and even if somebody sees this and they get mad at me, oh, well, I don't give a shit.
No one watches. It's fine. I've got 200 subscribers.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. It only takes one person to see something and then for it to go viral and whatever. But at the end of the day, all of these guys are like, you know what? There's one Tony Robbins. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop already. Stop trying to be. There's one Peter McKinnon.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be another Peter McKinnon.
Yeah.
Be you.
There's one Gary V.
There's one Gary V. Stop being, stop trying so hard to emulate the successes of everyone else. I think we really got to that point where it was like, okay, here's my foolproof blueprint plan for $150 a month. You can get my entire workshop and my contracts and my this and my that. And then when you start getting all the content together and you start trying to put your own stamp on it, by the time you're done looking through all of it, you're not using any of it because you're wanting it to sound more like you.
Yeah.
Which is what you should have been doing in the first place.
And if you did use all that stuff, it would just look like their content.
It's like it's this copycat syndrome.
I don't have a problem with people copycatting the formula to get there, but like, I mean, my whole thing is, do you have to buy all this stuff from that person? Do you have to, I watch people and I learn, I observe, I watch, like some of those very creators, Jared Polin, Peter,
sure.
all those guys, I watch them and I see how they make their content, the consistency of it, and I look at those things and I use like how they shoot, how they do this. It's not what is their content. I don't look at that. And I'm not going to go, I could do that same content, but just put it in my words. I don't think they would have a problem with that. As long as it was literally in my words, I did it, I shot it the way I wanted it to be shot. But
sure.
I use their, like, kind of like their, like for the podcast, like I said, I have people that I try to not. This is a very touchy subject for me because I don't want people to think that I, want to be Peter McKinnon or Jared Polin or Joe Rogan or any of these people.
Right.
I just like the way their shit looks.
Right.
I like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
I like the way they do that. That's why I've set this the way I've set it. A, because I like that, and B, it's super hyper easy. Like we were talking
about. It's consistent, which creates a brand. It creates a visual. It creates
they know what they're going to get. Best
example I can give you, at Swim Week, I was sitting there with an artist from DC who's an amazing human being. Mm-hmm. His friend, and assistant, and coworker, and she was talking to me, and she goes, I'm looking through, she's like, your sports stuff has gotten to the point where it's like, I was focused so much on it that I wasn't really doing a lot with my regular stuff. And
right.
She goes, when I looked at your sports stuff, every time it came up on my feed, I knew it was you. Before it even when your logo showed up or anything, I knew it was you because of the style, the way it was. And that was like the biggest, reward of the week, is hearing that somebody is seeing the thought process and the vision and the consistency and the style.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you? Here's another little compliment for your work. Well, I follow NYC Lavish,
yes.
Chris. I follow him, and I follow you in all of your 800 pages. But what's kind of neat to me is
no rim shot. Damn.
Nah, that wasn't a joke. That was serious.
Yeah, I thought he was being for real.
I was scrolling through, and I will only sit on there. I've got it down to like 30 seconds a pop. I won't only be on Instagram. I'm like scroll. I'll look at a couple of stories, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
But his page came up, and I thought it was yours because of the work. And I went, that's Russell did that. I knew that was your work on his page. And I just thought, like I said, I don't know if that's a compliment or it's like a no-duh moment, but like for me, it was like, that's kind of neat. I see it on his page, but then his client is actually using his work, which is,
right.
He normally tends to do that because you do such good work. And I'm not just over here trying to, buff the knob. I'm just telling you do good job. So I'm sure your client is super happy, but it's a major thing for photographers.
Yeah.
Or videographers, when someone actually uses the work that you do
right
on their page, in their content, what have you. To me, that's like the ultimate high five. That's like, I get all giddy like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah,
so.
and as we build this up and bigger, and we try, a really close friend of mine did some voiceover work for my trailer that's going to be upcoming soon, and it's so weird to hear somebody talking about, like, when you hear something, like when you hear a commercial or you hear a voiceover that I'm used to hearing, talk about my business.
It's a little trippy, isn't it?
It is so weird. I mean, I was just sitting there and I'm like, it's like I'm outside of myself right now. This is just kind of weird, like hearing it. And I'm like, I have a lot of, and do you have me on camera still? Cause
Yeah.
Okay.
That screen just times out.
Yeah, I
okay.
do.
So I just, I'm always thinking, I'm like, shit,
It's
that
the
would be pretty funny if
videographer
you're
in
like, if like halfway through, it'd be like, oh, it's
all
not
black
recording.
screen.
Oops.
No, you're good.
He would tell you. No,
No,
it's just
that's
that
why I'm on it.
the display screen that you have up there. Just times
I'm
out.
a little, I have a little PTSD from a interview, a bad interview, where
Camera was not working.
camera was
Not on.
focusing on somebody in the background that I asked not to be in that spot of the background because I knew any motion would catch the camera to focus on that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, ruined a very, very important interview. And
It was like an
luckily
on-the-go
I had a
interview?
second. Luckily, I had a second angled version
Okay.
with a 135 close up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good footage
So
still,
just kind of clip back and forth.
but like the whole freaking thing was like out of focus on the straight shot because it kept catching somebody.
Was it like a
up and down
street
up there.
interview or like a sit down?
No, it was a sit down interview like this, and I asked specifically that nobody sit over here, and I know it was just.
You got to lock in the focus, bro.
I did, but that's why I got rid of that camera because it started jumping to this, whatever the motion was picking it up, and it was user error and it was bad. But at least the third camera and the second camera got everything
That's
needed,
good.
and the audio was good. So
That's all that matters.
it's just one of those things. But that person no longer has their job anyway, so I don't care.
But we understand the PTSD from that
Yes.
for sure.
So So when I saw the screen go off, and I'm like, oh man.
He would for sure say something.
No,
would be
he
like-
wouldn't.
Yeah, he would.
No, he wouldn't.
No, I would get up.
For sure he would. He would say, Jim,
He would just switch it to a shot of
Dude,
himself on the iPhone.
do you realize
Zoom into my crotch here.
do you realize that thus far, normally in a show,
We usually have
gremlins.
yes. There have
So-
been no gremlins today,
No, because he's here. He's chased them
and
out.
that's exactly why I said that.
Yeah, no, and that's why whenever we started, I just jumped in because I was like, everything's running. Let's just go.
Let's just go with it. Yep. So, but I'm equally as, and this is going to be the reciprocal
Okay.
and being proud moments, but I'm equally as proud of you for consistently doing this podcast because people give up too easy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you're not willing to do it for 5 years for 500 episodes, then you're not in it for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that being here from the beginning and then seeing where we've come, where we can just have a conversation. Now, I used to I'd get in here and I'd even be nervous. I'd be like, can I hear myself on the headphones? Am I close enough to the mic? Am I sitting all right? Am I looking all right? Is everything okay?
My
And
boob's too big.
are the conversations not going well? Am I boring? Am I putting people to sleep?
How do I look on camera? Am I jacked?
And now it's
More relaxed.
we have a conversation.
Yeah.
You talk, I talk. That's how
Yeah,
conversations happen.
that's
It's just it's a really nice thing to see you evolve in your approach on how you handle the conversation, how you all of your whether I can join in live or not, and I should join in live more often, and I'm sorry that I don't because I
it's fine
should
if
be a
you
better
don't.
fan than that.
It's okay. I don't expect everybody to all the time.
But when I go back and I watch, you do a great job of letting your guests get their spotlight, which is
try.
the point. It's even though it's the Gray Beard podcast, it's not,
No.
hey, hi, I'm Jim. You're going to listen to me talk for the next 9 hours, and my guest is going to talk for 4 seconds. Russell, here you go.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Russell from Soscenic. Okay, back to Jim. Let's talk about Jim some more.
For the
You know, it's
first like 30 minutes, I will let you do everything you want to do, and then eventually
Wow.
Looking
No,
free touches
This
gonna
is
cost.
not the
Listen.
podcast I thought I was joining.
No, I'm kidding. Like I to your point, I do. First of all, and thank you for that. It's not easy.
No.
And it's been many a times when I've thought about just going, you know what? It's not growing like I thought it would. I think I'll just cut it out. But it's gotten to the point where people are like now contacting me to come on the show, and that's super nice. And it's like it's also a wow moment for me because I'm like, wait, are people actually watching? Like, where are these people finding my podcast? Because I've had a lot of people emailing me, they're from out of state, and I always email them back, and it's like, hey, listen, thank you so much for reaching out. I just don't do a lot of remote. I'm not really set up for that, like the remote podcasts. I've done it once. I want
to look into it because if people are interested,
maybe, and we will eventually. But right now, I like to keep it local. I like to keep it my friends. I want to keep it people. Like I told somebody in the past, I was like, I'm going to keep bringing people back on, my friends, because honestly, this is like the only time we don't hang out. We don't get to hang out. You're busy. I'm busy. He's busy. But like, if I can, we can
get this going for a couple hours.
For a couple of hours, we can hang out and shoot the shit, and you get to talk about what you're doing because I'm genuinely always curious about how you're doing, what you're up to, how was swim week, what was it like, are there any funny stories that happened, and I know you're going to bring that. But and I do love just having conversations with people, especially people like the guy last week, and I can't stop talking about. He's awesome, but like I didn't know jack about that dude, like, and I told him in the beginning of the podcast, like I wanted it that way. I could have done research, but I didn't. So I was like, I want to learn about you, and you learn about me as we go. And we did like, what was it, almost 3 hours?
320, 330, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Wow, those are like Russell numbers.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, but this is one of my favorite things to do every week.
Yeah.
And I don't do it for money, and I'm not trying to make money.
Advertisers, start paying him, please.
If it happens, great. I'm not here for that. I didn't start out with the intention to make money. I started out with when it was Archetype Aperture and it was just me, in the office doing it by myself. I started out trying to give people free education for the things that I learned.
This portion of the podcast is brought to you by Soscenic Photography.
Thank you. I'll send you the bill.
Coming up this Sunday, Marvel Studios presents
Sunday. Yeah. No, and to your point, I just, like I said, thank you so much. And it's always nice. It's always nice to hear, and I'm tripping my words up because I'm getting choked up. Because, it's nice to hear that you're doing something right, and the one thing that I can do is consistency. I've at least got that. So, but thank you.
And look at that. My RP is still
there.
It's still there.
My girlfriend gets so mad.
The Japanese version gold.
Because I bought that
limited
for her.
edition RP.
I bought that for her.
That's even my 50 millimeter lens too, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's nostalgic.
Yep. It could be. I don't know. I have 2 of them. The one you
I should take that with me to Fashion Week one year and take a bunch of shots.
Well, you'll have to give me a replacement camera while I do my podcast because it's like literally my camera.
Yep. Oh no, you're good.
I'll lend it out. We swap. I don't know if you'll like it, but what is it, like 9 frames?
Clank.
Yeah. Well, you could run the buffer out on that thing in like no time at all.
Yeah, that's.
I
remember shooting sports for the first time with Kira. Kind of. I didn't really know that much about. I knew everything about sports because I played sports, but I didn't know much about sports photography.
Yeah.
And I tried to show her with my original Canon R,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 6 frames a second, and it was like burst speed.
I thought that was
and it was
20.
Like, junk.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I'm like, you kind of miss a lot.
You miss quite a bit.
It's like the quarterback catches the ball, and then all of a sudden the ball's already out of his hands, and you're like, I didn't even get that, and I was holding the button down. But what's going on? So it was. I harkened back, 4 years ago to those moments, and I really. It's amazing the technology that's advanced now.
Yeah.
You can.
Where do you think it's going to go, though? How much better can they get?
They can get faster. They can get readout speeds faster. I find myself still struggling with the autofocuses are good. They're let me rephrase this. They're absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
We now demand so much of our camera.
Take this with you to Swim Week next year and see how the hell you do with the focus on that. That's a 9-point focus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a mirrored camera. That's not mirrorless.
Yeah, that's old school.
Yeah.
I like it though.
You
It still had a swivvy screen.
Yeah. You have to move the camera around to get your person in the focus. There is no focus, autofocus.
There's an autofocus button right
Yeah,
here.
it doesn't do shit. You have 9 points of focus. That's it. I was just like, the point I'm making is like these cameras they have today have edge-to-edge focus capabilities. So it's crazy.
The challenge is making sure that you have the right setting for the right sport.
Correct.
You have the right, if you have subjects coming in and out of your shot quickly, is it not picking up the right person? Is it staying locked onto the right person that you need it to?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of, more money, more problems. Bigger, higher price cameras have different problems than your simple point and shoots and stuff like that. And so, technology these days, I think that pre-capture is probably the biggest thing on the horizon. It's already around, but like maybe being able to narrow it down.
That's a weird thing to say.
Well, it's basically, it records, so on the R1 and on the Sony A9 III, I believe, or the A1 too, they have basically between 15 and 45 shots before you actually press the button down, it records in previous.
What is it when you do like a half press?
Your half press, and then you press the shutter. It takes 15 shots before that, so it's constantly recording what you're shooting. And so the way that works is, the problem is you end up with like 4,000 freaking photos,
right? When
you would normally have 1,000. So now you're culling through to that precise moment. The great thing about it is, if you're late to the shot or late to the catch, and you're getting up there and you press that button, it's going to catch.
You may have caught it.
It may save a shot. I think that's really where the future is. The global shutter thing, from what I know, all these cameras are fantastic in real world usage. Mm-hmm. There are going to be a nerd everywhere that's going to say, oh, well, the dynamic range is only 14 stops compared to 16 of another one. None of that stuff really truly matters with today's new style cameras and the way you can denoise things and shoot at different ISOs. The global shutter that Sony has, they were the first one to do it. I guess there was a lot more noise in the image at higher ISOs.
Right.
Because there is no shutter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is. I don't know why a global shutter, I guess it's the way it takes the image, just flashing it all on the shutter itself instead of having it roll.
Mm-hmm.
I think it probably has something to do with it, but I'm not a tech nerd, so
I'll have to get into that. I'm not
gonna get into acting like I completely know why it is. I just know a number of people that I trust have told me that the global shutter is amazing. The readout speed is amazing. The quality when everything is right is unmatched. But there are some limitations and low light with that global shutter. They're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
All the brands are going to figure it out because it's all going to be global shutter eventually.
Do you think the ability to shoot that many frames that fast devalues photography at all?
No.
Do you remember? But I'm just I was just thinking about when we were holding that thing, but even before that, when it was just film, there was no digital. Everything was just film, and people would get these amazing captures. And they're still today, they're like some of the most iconic photos that you've ever seen. And it's like, it was caught on film and the dude it's like one frame.
The image is still the image.
Yeah.
The story that it tells is still the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're a spray and pray photographer or if you're a one-shot photographer. Kira and I are both completely different when we're on the field.
Okay.
I like to burst shoot. Mm-hmm. Because I envision when I go to a field and I see action happening, the reel that I'm going to post is already playing in my head before I even take the picture. Mm-hmm. And so the first play, I'll see the reel in my head. The second play, I'll be ready to shoot it. And I'll actually photograph it and burst photograph it so I know I have all the shots that I need.
Right.
Does that mean that there's a ton more shots? Yes. When I look through, when Kira shoots for me, and I don't make her edit, and she's just dropping me the memory card, I'm like, you only took 200 shots. I'm like, what? I'm like, I have 2,500 shots, and she's got 200 shots. All 200 are bangers.
Yeah.
Every single freaking shot she takes is a banger, and I'm like,
so you play it safe, and she.
I'm old school since I work in risk and I do those kind
I
of
think
corporate
she's
things.
more old school.
I
She's planning out her shots a little better.
She does, but I'm the play it safe guy.
That's what I'm
So
saying. Yeah,
I want to make sure we have every shot we need. Do we have enough shots for each player? This last year with high school, for baseball season, I had 16 JV players and I had 6 varsity players.
Okay.
That's 22 baseball players in a season, and you have to make sure that you have enough shots each game, each week for the parents, delivered within a certain amount of time, and to keep all of that wrapped in your head. And so, I'm like on the side of the baseball field, and I'm like constantly looking at my phone, reminding myself numbers and how many shots I got and everything, and it's just a routine.
Mm-hmm.
She goes out there, gets every shot, everything that she needs, only the amount that you need, and it's like every shot's good. And I'm like. And I have a newfound respect for what she does because I had to work for her down at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
She was hired to cover a softball tournament down there, and she got credentialed for the Daytona 500.
Nice.
And she's like, well, what do? I go, you're going to the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
You have a hot pass, full access, everything at the Daytona.
Go.
You're going.
Yeah.
She goes, well, I have this softball tournament I'm committed to. I go, well, I'll shoot the softball tournament. She goes, well, you have to make sure you do this, 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 and this. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, seems easy enough. You have to deliver images in game, edited.
Mm.
So like in the third inning, by the third inning, you had to have like 4 shots of each team and then a winning shot based on which team could potentially win that they could use at the end of the game for a live post.
So when you say edited, does that just mean JPEG? Because
No.
it's got all the, it's got like all the stuff built
What
into
I mean is I shot my ass off the first and second inning, and I went behind home plate to a picnic table and pulled my laptop out and started editing photos,
and just-
trying to find 4 images for each team. And literally, like, when the third inning started, the SID, the person who's in charge of all that, is pinging me, saying, hey, do you have the images? Do you have the images? Do you have the images? And I'm like, wow. And the pressure to be able to find the right images, get them to them, be able to cull that down to a small number, because I'm used to tons of photos. Being able to do that quick,
That's probably
under
why
that
she
pressure,
Yeah.
I was like,
That's probably
I was
why she
blown
shoots
away.
like she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks for that one moment and she gets it. And then, I mean, I think she talked about it when she was here last time. It's like they are on you. Like, why don't write rice in a paper plate in a snowstorm? Like, they ain't messing around. They
Well,
want.
that was crafty.
Well, that's from Eddie Murphy. But
Where's the real shot? Patrick, you're messing.
okay.
Thank you.
Pause.
Little delayed.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Kind of like a Delta flight.
Yeah.
Delayed.
Wow.
Anyways. Yeah. No, I
I
meant.
almost said something that would have been terribly viral and terribly inappropriate.
You
I'm
think
really
anything?
glad I did
I would
not.
hope that it goes viral. I'm going to do my best to make you viral. That's not what I meant. That came out wrong.
See that couch behind you there?
Wow.
And that camera?
The casting couch with Soscenic photography.
Well,
Sure,
we do get some spicy shots after the show.
And behind the curtain tonight
I
is
saw
Diddy.
something. I saw something the other day. Somebody sent something to me, and I couldn't.
Baby oil?
No,
Oh.
this is not a Diddy party. Said that this. I couldn't believe when I read it, and I'm like, I thought it was a little bit on the offensive side, and then I realized it was more funny than it was offensive,
Okay.
and more true. And the strangest thing is, when you look at the generations that have gone through time, you think about like prostitution. Okay. It was always in the corner.
Yeah,
It's
it's always been
like
there.
a dark, seedy thing just over here.
Mm-hmm.
This generation
Oh, it's right out in front.
is like the most proudest prostitutes you've ever seen
God
in the
bless
world.
'em.
It is.
And I'm like, because if you think about it, like every single person, no matter how, you could be watching like some cooking special, and like, and for some more spicy content, hit my link in the bio. Like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you're a cooking person. What are you doing here? And it's like, it's so funny to
Nuns
see.
at the end of the mass.
It's so funny to see the evolution of what's accepted
Yeah.
in day-to-day life now, that that kind of ties back into like, where does photography go? I don't think photography is going anywhere for certain things, but when you see like stuff like now you have like AI people, and that seems to be the new trend where you and I can pose in front of a camera or whatever, and then it's like some like 23-year-old Baywatch lifeguard actually doing whatever we're mimicking our movements. And I'm like, that's the crazy part about all of this. Like if you can master AI and master manipulation with a camera, like we do with editing and skin textures and stuff like that,
right,
you're going to still have a career.
100%.
But if you just think you're going to be able to just take pictures when people can basically take a picture on their phone and then change their background to wherever they're at. I was at Bonnaroo yesterday. Boom, there it is. You're at a music festival, and it looks like you're at the music festival. I know that's a bad example since they just canceled it, but
I don't even know what Bonnaroo is.
What? Do you know what Bonnaroo is?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Just another music festival, but
Okay.
it seems to be plagued with a lot of
reggae
problems.
festival?
It's a EDM festival,
Oh, okay.
but
See, I don't like
they get plagued with bad weather like every year. It's like
Because
once
they-
again this year there was a flood and so
because
they
it's
canceled it.
EDM
All the
music.
electronics.
That's why.
Yeah. So-
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Sorry, but
Not a fan.
I don't know where we go when it comes to that raw work.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody's jobs are being replaced. Like, when you look at the entry-level positions in most companies, it's all been replaced by AI already.
What was he saying? What was Ryan talking about HR?
Yeah.
There's
And then
companies that
programs.
have gotten rid of their entire HR department
Yeah.
and given it to AI.
Yeah, and then you have the top end. AI has the ability to do coding.
Yeah.
So now the best jobs and the worst jobs are gone.
So everybody's going to have to become prompters.
You have a bunch of watchers in the middle. And that's all we are in the corporate world is watchers. And then eventually AI will watch that, and then you'll have to have like a handful of people to watch the AI to make sure it's functioning.
So are you saying that like the white collar jobs are going away?
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be swinging a hammer pretty soon?
No. I think robots will be building. I mean, you already see what, like auto plants are basically built.
Yeah, with factory lines that
Yeah.
are fully AI robot.
Well, not only that, but the new 3D printed houses and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you have so much that it's like, I'm glad my daughter picked up a camera because I still think that for her generation, she still has a lifeline for the arts.
Yeah.
I think her kids will not.
You think so?
Everything will be computer generated. Everything will be, and you'll either be like
I think it'll be much farther past that.
the
by then.
WALL-E movie seems like a more reality every single day.
Yeah, well, when I think of it, I think of like Ready Player One.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like dystopian, everybody goes into this new world.
Yeah, you get immediate gratification, any kind of feeling, sensation you want.
The real world is
dopamine
shit.
fix. You can be in any scenario that you want to be in and not
There was another
be
movie.
dead.
I think it had Bruce Willis in it.
Oh, yeah.
Surrogates.
Surrogates.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was kind of like you just go to sleep and then you wake up in whatever virtual persona that you're in, and that's how you live your life is through that. You work through that, you live through that, you meet people
Never
through
leave
that,
the house, yeah.
and you never actually leave the house. But that comes back to the whole WALL-E thing that then everybody's just these
Blobs.
blobs of
Floating
people.
around.
And
In
if
a
something goes wrong,
wasteland.
there's no way to fix it, and that's a concern that I have. But
I think a comet or an asteroid will hit before it gets too heavily involved in that. I think
and start everything all over again.
Yeah,
we've
but
been
by-
there before.
But by then, we'll have a AI system that can, blow up these asteroids before they hit
You
the
can't
Earth.
blow up an asteroid.
I'm sure you can.
No, you can't.
Big enough bomb.
They'll move a planet.
They'll move the
You
Earth.
would
yeah.
be-
They'll throw the moon at it.
Put a
They're going to
jetpack
throw the
on
moon
one
at
side.
it.
What's the
Thanos.
what's that one guy? The scientist, the physicist guy.
There are a lot of those in the world.
No, the one everybody loves, the black guy.
Oh, jeez, it's really terrible that we're actually saying that. But
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes,
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah,
He
Neil
would be
deGrasse
happy.
Tyson.
He'd be fine with it. But he was actually talking about that. He's like, you can't blow up an asteroid. There's metal, and there's like they're mostly made of like these rare metals that they're not going to explode. He's like, you'd be better off attaching a rocket to it and just pushing it off to its trajectory.
Trajectory. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Or you keep sending things to the moon, and you basically turn the moon into a spaceship.
Well,
and
the
then
moon
you fly
is
the moon at it.
the moon is it's hollow. It's not real. It is a space station. It is like it's
Is
like
it
the
made
Death,
of cheese?
It's like the Death Star. Okay,
Is it a giant Cheez-It in
it's
the
not
sky?
made of cheese.
They cut it in half in Sonic 3 on accident. I don't think it's hollow, Jim.
No, it's
It's hollow.
I don't think that's real.
Even if it's a hollow, if you were to basically hook up, jet engines to it and get it to move,
It'd be pretty badass.
it'd be pretty cool to use that as a deterrent to an asteroid.
It would be bad for the Earth though, because I think the moon
it
controls
actually
the tides. Doesn't it?
it messes with the gravitational pull.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a little, it's over my head.
We're all going to be dead by the time any of this stuff happens.
Yeah,
anyway.
way dead.
God, I hope.
That's why I'm like, I don't want to get too dystopian about life. I hope that people find a way to integrate it into their everyday life and that everyone's fine. That's my hope.
Yeah.
And I because I have kids and I want them to have kids and then I want their kids to have kids. I want people that I know and love and people I haven't even met yet or may never meet. I hope that they have a good life and that there's something here for them. But it's just like
He wants to have 8 billion people have a great life.
I want everyone to have a good life, but you can't always get what you want.
I've come to the realization in the last short amount of time as I start to go through my last essentially 2 decades upright, with upright mobility. It's like
You think you're going to last for another 2 decades?
that's it. Yeah,
God, you are so dark today. You're
2
like
decades.
You're like
I got 2 decades of
Dark
mobility
Russell
left.
today.
I got 2 decades of mobility left, and I'm going to do everything I can to
Normally,
live
I like goth chicks.
my best life. There we go. Thank you. I'm going to do everything I can to get every last ounce of whatever opportunity I have so that I can pass that on to Kira and then whoever else, we end up building this thing out to be. Because that's, what, at the end of the day, that is my legacy. And I'm not worried about, I gave up the thought that I was going to be rich a long time ago. The reality of that is people who, work hard every single day and grind, who don't want to fleece the system, who don't want to try to find the shortcut, who don't want to do this, we're the ones who make enough to get by, but we never get rich because we don't know how to, rig the system. Right.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that we don't know how, it's that we don't want to because our values still get in the way.
Sure. Yeah, we're rich in much more other ways.
Right. And so when I look at people who are like, well, you got to keep raising your prices. And that is true to an extent. You should always continually
inflation.
raise your prices because yesterday's price is not today's price.
Correct.
But for people to say, oh, you should be doing, if you're charging this, you should be charging 8 times that because you're that good. No. I'm that good because of the people that have trusted me to do the work with. And yes, does that increase each time I hire a new client? It absolutely does.
Right.
But I'm not also going to sit there and have a conversation with one kid in high school about how they're getting this many photos for this much money, and then I'm charging 8 times that price to somebody else on the same team. That's an uncomfortable conversation that not only I have to have with parents, that's an uncomfortable conversation that the players then start to have with each other.
Right.
And then I start impacting their play on the field because they're too worried about images and pictures. I will never be that guy.
Yeah.
I will never be that person that puts myself ahead of the development of these young men and women that I'm photographing.
That's
because
strong ethics, man.
When I go to a game, if I even notice people playing to my camera, I move.
Good.
Because it's not as much fun as that is, like when they score a touchdown or whatever and they're doing whatever dance they're doing, whatever, fine. I get that. But when you start seeing that they're trying to do things they shouldn't be doing or they're going
to hurt themselves.
They're not only going to hurt themselves, but they're going to, you see them trying too hard and they commit an error on the baseball field.
Right.
Or they're trying to look good on camera when they're doing something. I don't want that to be the issue. I played sports. I played baseball. I played football when I was really young. I played tennis for a long time. So I understand pretty much every sport that I photograph.
Mm-hmm.
I know the rules. I know the game. I know the strategy. I know what you have to, the time you have to put in, the practice you have to put in. And I don't want the coaches to look at me and go, we really don't want you here right now because you're really screwing us up because we're trying to teach these kids certain things and they're more interested in you than the coach.
Right.
And so I always try to be impartial. I always try to be kind of back away from it. I will get on the field now a little bit more during warm-ups and stuff and get in their face a little bit because they know me now that I've built relationships with certain teams. But I try not to do that, especially early on in the process. If I don't know you or if I don't know your team or if I don't know the coach, I will not be on the field getting all of that and getting all and doing, all of that stuff because I don't want to be in the way. Mm-hmm. The last thing a photographer ever wants is to be in the way of a sporting event or of an issue. And it's like, I really fear those moments. I fear being too much of a distraction that I lose the access. Mm. I am all about access and about being granted it the right way. Yeah. And I don't want to take advantage of those privileges.
That makes sense, man.
Because we worked really hard to get to where we are.
Yeah.
The last thing I want anybody to say about if they hire Soscenic Sports or they hire Little Soscenic or they hire, Soscenic Photography, I don't want anybody to say that they regretted the experience. Mm-hmm. If the pictures don't come out or you don't like something about yourself or whatever, or the shots don't come out or we don't catch that big moment because the lighting was wrong or the camera messed up or whatever, you know what? Those things happen.
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody to walk away from saying, I regretted paying that man to take photos of our child.
Yeah. Little Johnny was showing out and he hurt his leg or whatever.
You know, that kind of stuff. And so I really harp on the experience. I harp on the service that's provided. I harp on the respect. I've never heard a person our age say anything bad about the way my daughter acts on the field.
Yeah.
And that is my proudest moment.
Yeah.
I don't care about, she could take the greatest shot ever taken. My proudest moment will be when a person comes up to me, like a principal of a school or a police officer that's always on the field and sees her shooting, always comes up to me and says how respectful she is every time she gets on the field. That is the best Father's Day gift you could ever get.
That is a good thing to hear as a father and a mentor of your own child.
And I've met a lot of photographers. I meet a lot of photographers on the sports field, and I see there's all different levels. We all see them. There are the newbies. They're the ones that have been there since the end of time. Are wearing the knee pads, and they're like 70 years old, and they're
monopod.
They got their like 6 different cameras on there. They got a big giant camera bag and everything, and you just know that they're all business. There's all different types. I love the fact when people actually talk. I think more photographers should talk to each other. Mm. I think there should be less competition and more collaboration because
you think there's a lot of gatekeeping out there.
Oh, ton of it. There's a ton of it. And you know what's funny? It's all at the bottom.
Really?
It's all at the bottom. All the competition is at the bottom of our field. Mm. Whether it's regular photography, fashion photography, sports photography, all the competition's at the bottom. When you talk to the people that are at the top of these games, they all work with each other. Mm-hmm. It's all collaboration.
Yeah.
Everybody trusts each other's opinions.
That's how you survive.
Everybody's got a vision, and they want to do it, and you do your part. You play your part, or you do this part, or you help out here, or you get somebody in connection with somebody else. It's so different at the top. There literally is no competition up there.
Yeah, it's good. That's the way it should be.
And so many kids today, they think that, I got to get that shot, and I got to get it out first, and I got to post it first, and I got to do this first, and I got to do that first. And yes, is there a time and a place for that? If you're working for Getty's or AP or whatever, yeah, you got to be first. You got to get that shot. They got to be good enough so that someone buys it, so a press will buy it, and then you get paid. Right. Completely get that. But when you're a hired photographer on the field for specific clients, people should be talking. Mm-hmm. I am willing to help the younger generations when they ask questions, as long as they're asking the right questions. Mm-hmm. But you gotta come with it with a level of respect. I don't really appreciate when I see potential clients or co-photographers or peers and stuff like that, where it's like there's like animosity there, or there's like an expectation that you owe them something or they owe you something, or as an athlete, hey, can I get some photos? Can I get some free photos?
Yeah. Did you get any of me while I was out there?
You know what? At the end of the day, there are plenty of moms out there and plenty of young up-and-coming photographers out there that are taking photos for free. Don't come up and ask the photographers that are being paid to be there for a free shot. Yeah. That is that is the biggest.
Do you
sign
think they really
of
know
disrespect?
Though? Like a lot of the kids,
they don't. Every single one of them, they all know, and they all know what each other pays.
Okay.
So that is the game in that business that you have to be mindful of, is that they know. I respect every single one of my clients so much that I will not give free images out. Mm-hmm. The only time I give free images out is if it's something way after the season that's old, that's not relevant.
Right.
I'm not giving you something from last week's game.
Sure.
It's not happening. But if I put a reel together because your footage is good that I shot, and I want to put a reel together, I'll put it out there. But that doesn't mean that I'm giving you a free photo.
So do you when you guys go to work at these schools, are you being hired by the school, the sports team, or like individual players?
So it varies.
Okay.
I have a number of photographers that the school districts pay to come out and do every sport. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's the athletic director hires, companies or photographers to come out. Mm-hmm. And then there's also teams will hire. They may just want specific content shot, whether it's video or photo. And then you have parents. Right now, my business model is I'm focused on working with parents because I'm trying to capture. I combine a lot of the different things that I was good at. And basically, my whole point is to capture moments for the parents so they don't have to. That's where I'm at. That's where I kind of fall in. However, I'm branching out, and more opportunities are coming with schools and sports teams. And I've worked with a couple of the soccer clubs in town, and there's a lot of different clubs that are available that are out there. Some beach volleyball, doing different things like that, where you get, companies will come and they want the same service. Mm-hmm. The problem is that a lot of people have a hard time of figuring out what it is that they want. And so that back and forth negotiations is a challenge in this business.
You have to tell them what they want sometimes?
Sometimes you have to tell them what they want. Others, it's just, you just know. So like in the fashion world, I know what Chris wants. Mm-hmm. And I ask him every time, because he changes on a regular basis, but I ask him early on in the week, what's your vibe? What are you looking for? What's the kind of content we want? Are we going to be focused more on you?
Shot list.
Is it going to be more you? Is it going to be more brand? Is it going to be more models? Is it going to be more fashion? Is it going to be more BTS? I'll find out those things. I'll find out what they need the footage for and what they're going to use it for. And then I customize my approach that way.
Makes sense.
I'm sure a ton of people do that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it seems like everyone just kind of, in the industry, there's a lot of people that are trying to get in and they're trying to learn their way. People are going to make mistakes. I don't hold that against them, but I want to see people learning. So when they ask me, I've had a couple people ask me now for jobs with Soscenic Photography.
Really?
So people are now starting to approach me saying, hey, we'd love to work for you. That's great. And that's coming. That will be the next evolution of this, where I eventually hang up my camera and I'm managing multiple photographers going out to multiple sports and teams and stuff like that.
Well, won't that be nice?
That'll be at some point in the future, or that'll be Kira's job some point in the future. But for right
hopefully
now,
within the next 2 decades.
Yeah. But
right.
but
while you're upright.
at this point, I may have to branch out and hire, but if you want to work for Soscenic Photography, you're going to have to bring the same level of respectability that my daughter brings to the field every day.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be able to, you can't just send me your Instagram feed and say, hey, here's what I can do. Mm-hmm. You better have a media kit.
Yeah.
You better have a kit that's designated to the things that you've done, the places you've worked, the people you've worked with.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
And
I don't think that's unreasonable.
I need to know that people trust in your work, because I'm not putting my name on your work unless I know you're going to bring respectability, bring the content, the quality, and the speed that we do.
The ethics that
There's
you
no
brought.
excuse to change my business model just for the sake of somebody coming in and working for my business.
Right.
Now, if they have better ways to do it or more efficient ways to do it, that's the stuff I'm going to listen to.
Sure.
I want to learn that stuff. I want to learn as many
pleasantly
things.
surprised.
Right. These kids are great. There's
Yeah.
a lot of these kids are doing unbelievable work. We just need to find the right people before we start hiring out and branching out, because it's a weird dynamic, but I hearken back to, it's about the experience. I don't want to give a bad experience. I don't want my photographers giving bad experiences.
Right.
I've had bad experiences with photographers. You and I have known many guys with cameras in the fashion world. It's like, wow, this is not a dating service, man. You're supposed to be taking pictures of them. It's not like your hands are supposed to stay on your camera and keep to yourself.
Yeah.
And we've been there and we've seen that, and we've walked out of sets and walked off sets because people are just seriously inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not happening with our business. Right. It is absolutely 100% not happening with our business. I will not go there. I will not allow that to happen. And I don't want to tarnish the name that we've built and the brand that we've built.
Right.
Just for the sake of signing one more school.
And it only takes
one more team.
One job.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and word gets around fast.
Even Chris and I talk about that in the fashion world. It doesn't really matter if it even happened. I mean, one bad thing, somebody says somebody did something to me, and it's over. I mean, you have nothing to stand on. That's why we keep a lot of people around.
Yeah.
That's why we always have people on any set. We tell them to bring their friends, bring witnesses, because I don't trust anyone.
No, you bring your own, and they let them bring their. And I mean, yeah. I've always done that with shoots. Like if I'm going to do some kind of shoot where they're bikinis or other scantily clad, and it's a female that I'm working with, it's like, okay, bring a friend, and or I'm bringing someone.
Yeah.
Because I to your point, man, it's just there's too many things that can be said, and maybe they never even happened. I mean, there's been times when I've gone as far as to think I didn't do it, but like I thought about putting a tripod in the corner of the room with my phone on wide and just let it record. So I can capture everything that happened in the entire interaction, and there is no issues.
Right.
That's one of the good things about having your own studio, which I know you don't need it if you're a photographer. I don't want people to start thinking that way, but like I thought that way for a long time. But I mean, I when I finally got one, I was like, oh, I'm putting a camera in this room when I'm working with people inside the studio, so it's controlled, and I know it's my camera. I know where it records to.
Right.
At any rate, CYA, man, cover that ass, and because anything can happen. I'm not trying to get Epsteined.
He's not trying
He's
to
not.
get Epsteined.
He's not on it tonight. Last week,
I just don't have a noose hanging sound on here.
Oh Lord!
What is it?
You say I'm dark? Wait a second. You say I'm dark?
That
you came with
motherfucker,
that?
he didn't hang himself.
No, he didn't. I don't think this.
No.
But anyway,
sorry.
That's a whole.
That was
so
a
I was
quick
gonna
dive.
when you were talking about that was a good way to break that whole. That was the end of the segment.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Canon.
Brought to you by Soscenic Photography. But I was going to ask you, because when you were talking about shooting for schools and stuff like that, it's a lot, and I know you've seen this, but I've been seeing a lot of these, and it worries me every time I see it. Like, I know that there are people that are really good with working with fire and stuff, but then I wonder about some of these photographers and their little helpers. Have you seen where they're doing these like senior pictures for the athletes, and they're like basketball players, and they set the fucking basketball on fire? The pictures
coming soon to a Soscenic Sports.
Like the pictures look cool, but I also worry. I'm like, are you being?
Most of them are sure. If you're at that level, most people are insured. So
I hope so. I don't want any kids to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that difficult to do some of that stuff. Really, if you have your lights set up the right way, you got a little fishing line, light the ball on fire. You have somebody holding it with a broomstick with a fishing line.
Oh no,
right
I've seen
by
them
the
literally
door.
holding it in their hand.
There's also a lot of AI and CG that's going into that.
Well, I mean, they do the behind the scenes, and I know, like my friend Caitlin Flames. She's one of those fire dancers.
Yeah.
I call them fireflies. Coined that phrase. Anyways, I was hoping it would take off.
No rim shot.
He's a sleepy man. He's been working
No.
all day.
No real shot for that one.
It's okay. He wasn't funny. If he laughs, he's gonna do it. But, but I know they have that like flammable foam that's like you could put it right on your bare hand and it'll only burn that.
Let's not go there. But yeah, that's. I have to do a lot more research.
Yeah.
Before I start doing it, I'm gonna actually try it out with a couple of senior portraits, probably coming up here soon. We're gonna try some different things. I like utilizing lights, and seeing a lot of the sports content where like the ball's like doused in like baby powder or whatever, and then when it hits the catcher's mitt,
Right.
poof, and you're catching all that, and that's a great visual, and there's great opportunity
action.
there. It's fun, but at some point, does the ultra artificial then cheapen the story and the impact that comes from it?
Well, I mean,
and the feels that come from
I
it.
suppose it's per job. So like, what are you?
Yeah.
What are you working on? Is that so? Those balls that are on fire. Not a joke.
I don't know which sound to make.
Not
for
a
that
joke.
One.
Not a joke. But why is it always when I
You need to get the campfire sounds. That's what you need. You need campfire sounds.
But like those types of things, I think they're set up and like they're made for like yearbook pictures. So that's not really. I don't think they're really trying to tell a story. I think they're just
Every
doing
picture tells a story.
They're just trying to do something that looks cool.
Yeah, agreed.
But like, so I mean, I think with like when you're out there shooting the game live,
Right.
That's going to tell a story. That's going to
Sure.
the guy was running and then he slid into home, and all the dust kicks up. That's a cool story to me. I mean, and there's probably a lot more to that can be told, but like,
I think with like a yearbook photo or like a senior portrait, I think you are telling your story. Like you used to see it all the time. Like I think we did one senior portrait. Dude wanted to have his senior portraits with his truck. He had a nice Toyota pickup truck or whatever.
I thought you were going to say fish.
No. But he has a really nice truck. He wanted some photos with his truck. That tells a story. Me and my truck. When I was in high school, I used to love my truck, whatever. Like, I would love to have gone back and looked at my senior portraits, which were terrible.
Yeah.
And
They were.
had my little black convertible lowrider that I had with a neon kit on it.
Hey,
I would have loved to have photos with that car.
did you really?
Yeah, heck yeah, I did. I used to go cruising.
so
Are you kidding? Back in the day,
can
cruising
see
Taco Bell to Taco Bell in Colorado. You don't.
You were probably hot shit in Colorado.
Probably not, but it was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was a fun time. I miss those days.
That was before
no
weed
phones.
was legal, guys.
There was no phones back then.
Yeah.
I mean, we had flip phones, but there, you were not taking photos and videos on them.
I was reminiscing with someone the other day, a young person, about that.
Young person, boy, he sounds old.
I am old.
I'm a young person.
Everyone that's
Young
under
person.
my age is a youngin. That's
I
the way I
remember
look at
when
it.
I used to walk uphill both ways.
I never did not say that. I
in
just
6 feet of snow.
It's always about the phone, because you see a kid on the phone and you're like, what's so weird is it's just like you think about it. You look at them and you're like, dude. I remember
carry a VW Beetle on
when
the
I was
back.
your age. We got locked outside the house. My mom would kick us out, lock us out, and we
Don't come home until the lights come on.
You were drinking that, like, not to sound like old boy, but like we were literally drinking that hose water. Like when you were thirsty, you were drinking that hose water.
I can still taste hose water right now.
Yes.
It is not something you'll ever forget.
Nope. And it was
It
the
is
most
a-
refreshing. Not that
Yep.
first sip, because that hose is hot. That water is hot when it comes out.
That's when you gotta spray your friends first.
Yeah.
And then drink them.
Yeah. Once it gets through the pipe.
That could have been taken the wrong way.
It could have been. But, that's just our mind. I think people that are watching don't think the things that we think, but we're dirty old guys. Well, I speak for myself. Present company excluded.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're a very respectful young man.
I'm a very respectful young man.
With your flamingo glasses.
I've never done nothing wrong in my life, ever.
Shout out to, what is that, Vintage Frames?
Vintage Frames from Montreal and,
Not sponsored.
and the Good Time Hotel in Miami.
The Good Time Hotel?
The Good Time Hotel in Miami.
That sounds like a whole joke in itself.
That sunglass shop.
It sounds like
best in the country.
That hotel seems like it's owned by like the mafia.
No, Strawberry Moon is their pool. A really cool place. That place is such an interesting vibe. I've never been to a hotel where the rooms are intentionally small, but they're still really cool. Like everything, like the
Why
bed
are they intentionally
is
small?
up against the wall, and there's no table, there's no nothing. It's just a bed. So like you go in, you have your bathroom, and you have a bed. And there's nowhere else to put anything else. It's very strange, but very cool at the same time.
You don't really give a shit about a lamp when you're doing coke at a hotel.
Yeah, for real.
That definitely needed a
for
repair.
sure in
hotel.
Miami. But I think it's weird in hotels that there's a fucking desk and a corner chair, it's like the cuck chair. What is that for?
Well, that's when I'm there, editing. That's my workspace.
Yeah,
Are you
well, the
kidding?
desk. But then why is that one single chair over in the corner?
Everybody knows why that one single
That's
chair is
why
in the
I call
corner.
it-
I just don't want to say it.
That's why I call it. I just called it the cuck chair. That's what it's there for.
chair.
That's-
Just want to watch, baby.
Where the massage therapist goes.
that's where your husband goes whenever. Anyways.
Wow.
We'll wait on that one.
Wow.
Yeah, you should let that one fly. You should just let it go. No, I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day, and it just
Same
refreshed
reason
my.
you don't want to touch the pillows at the hotels.
I don't want to touch anything at the
Decorative
hotels.
pillow.
You sleep on top
throw
of
that
the
away
blankets.
somewhere else.
Yeah, don't bring the black lights. But I would say instead of fire, I thought, and I haven't seen this yet. I've seen it, but I've not seen it in like sports photography, like for like those setup shots.
I'm so scenic. Get it right. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. But
Man, I can't even get. I'm trying to get
You're
the rim
not
shot.
funny,
I
dude.
guess
It's getting close.
Man,
should have gave him some psilocybin.
It's-
I would just be like this all night.
But like slow shutter speeds.
yeah.
I think that would be friggin' awesome. I love those like the light painting and just those types of shots where it's like you hold your ass, tell your subject, don't fucking move, don't even breathe, for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, the light painting was cool for like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like it burnt out real quick once people realized that you need an enormous amount of time and patience and people willing to
That's
have
real art.
attention spans to actually make the art.
That's real art though.
I agree. But that's the problem. The real art, the real crafty stuff, the stuff that we want 3 hours to just set up and do, it's so hard to get that. For an up-and-coming photographer unless you have a team. My biggest advice to up-and-coming photographers that want to be in like the fashion and modeling and that kind of world, get yourself a makeup artist, a hairstylist, and a set planner in your crew right off the bat. Figure out 4 people to do your job. You cannot do it all yourself. You need to have those 3 things because every shoot becomes more epic when you have other people focused on specific tasks.
Right.
If you can do that,
good advice.
you're going to be much better off than trying to just find the local natural light spot and take a photo of somebody on the beach. And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm a natural light photographer too. The problem is this. People's attention spans, people's willingness to work extended periods of time, everybody just wants it in an hour and they want it yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no time. And the ones that are really good at it will always tell you, oh, there's plenty of time. If you're good enough, they'll do it. I'm like, no. There are a lot of clients that just don't have the time to be able to invest in you setting up for an hour. They want the content shot now, and they want it edited now, and they want the content provided now. There's just no time for that. I've learned very quickly on the fly with Chris that you have to be able to craft, set up, take down, and edit a shot in your mind way before it ever even happens when you're with him, because it is going to be nonstop. I kid you not when I tell you that we did anywhere from 6 to 10 events a day for 5 straight days, 3 to 4 shoots a day with different people and coordinating each day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like hotels and other things that, you know, comp you whatever with certain things, and they're like, they want photos or images of you at those hotels and stuff like that. Keeping all of that straight, you got to work on the fly, and you got to do it quick, and you got to be able to produce epically good stuff on the fly, or they will find another person to do it. I applaud and respect and envy those that can invest the amount of time into these shots. But I've never had the opportunity, and I would love to. So if there are makeup artists out there, or there are hair artists out there that want to collaborate and work together on some concept shoots and stuff like that, as I get time during the summer is usually my slower time, strangely enough. It's usually a lot of people's busier time. It's my slower time. If there are makeup artists out there or hair artists out there and models that want to work, hit me up, and let's
contact at Soscenic Photography.
Yeah, and let's figure out ways to collaborate and grow, because there are some factions out there that we've all met that tried and are continuing to try to build a community here. Nobody seems to get it right. It always ends up turning into a money show. It always turns into who's getting paid, who's not getting paid, who's getting the credit, who's not getting credit.
Right.
I don't care who gets the credit. I want to learn something new. I want to work on something. I want to create something.
Just make it fun again.
I want to do some fun stuff that doesn't worry so much about, did we get the proper dollar for the hour, for the content, I don't want to worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
I have plenty of jobs and plenty of things that give me that opportunity to worry about that.
Right.
I want to create, and I want to try to build something from a community standpoint where not only we end up building something that is the envy of other communities, it then becomes massively profitable without us even trying. Because somebody looks at it and goes, they're doing it right.
Right.
They're doing the right thing. I'm going to come in there and I'm going to invest, and I'm going to fund, or I'm going to, rent out our studio space and let them use it, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Will it ever happen? Who knows? I don't even care if it happens or it doesn't. I really want to just try.
Yeah.
Because I think that I used to go to group shoots. I look back all the time at, like, when I would go to Studio 442 down in Deland, Florida, and I would love walking into that studio with the 4 or 5 different sets. Never met any of the models. There's like 5 or 6 models. There's like 4 or 5 photographers, and then the owner, and we all just kind of come up with shit on the fly for an hour or two.
Yeah.
And just see what comes
Sparks
out of
the
it.
creative juices.
And it's just a really cool experience.
I've seen some of your shots from those types of things, and it's always interesting to see what you get.
And it's because and I'm always the one in those scenarios. I always used to be that way too, even when, if you date back to like the Cowford house, and even with Collab and stuff like that, when we were doing some work with them, is that I always tried to find something different. I went under the bar at Collab to take those photos of Jen and of
Alexis.
And then Josie and stuff. And it really, when you look at the work in the studio, I always put like the studio stuff in the background instead of just a backdrop or whatever that he had set up or put out.
Right,
I'd always go the opposite way. I'd actually go on stage and shoot back to where all the crap was behind there. And then people were like, what are you doing? I'm like, there are 5 photographers here. Do you really think that 5 photographers are going to get the, different perspectives standing in the same freaking spot like we're a 5-year-old soccer team?
Right.
No. You got to just try stuff. And every time I used to be on set when I would do fashion photography, I would always talk to my clients and to subjects. I'd be like, look, I know what I'm going to do is going to look weird or like
While
you're not
you're
going to
doing it.
understand what's going on. I said, it's either going to work or it's not. You'll only know if it works.
Right.
So don't worry about it.
And what is it hurting?
Right. It's not, let's just figure it out and let's, and there was never any, oh, why are you shooting like that? Or what are you doing that? And the owner who owns the place would always come to me and be like, I always enjoy watching you try to figure out what differently to do than what I told you should do. Because every set is set up f7.1, 250 on the ISO, 250 on the shutter. If the lights are programmed for that, that's what you do. And I would completely mess with that whole thing.
Yeah.
Once everyone got their shots, of course, I wouldn't like.
Well,
mess
yeah,
it
when
up
it was
so
your
there
turn.
right? But it was always fun for me to just do something different. Look,
Sorry, this fucking saddle chair.
I like this shot.
Yes. I gotta massage this.
what a moment to just break into that.
I can't help it. I've been squirming over here. I gotta get a new chair.
He's squirming.
Take the baby Deadpool's chair over there.
No, I'm not gonna take that
Baby
chair.
Deadpool.
I gotta get new hydraulics for all these chairs, but I'm more worried about mine. I don't care. I don't care about what the guest does.
I'm perfectly fine.
As long as you're comfortable, I don't care. And this
I'm good.
is good for about 30 minutes, and then my balls start hurting. Sorry, I was trying to think of a way to say it.
His boys, folks.
Hey, I try to be
This
kind to
portion
one
of the
another down
program
there.
brought to you by
Lamisil.
Fruit of the Loom
It's actually and one. But
for the tidy whities in all of us.
That's right. I don't do tidy whities, but sure. Fuck. My balls just distracted both of us. Sorry.
Three of us. Shit.
That's right.
Those are very distracting balls.
Sorry. My best Canadian.
I always love the fact that even on the sports field, I'll try to get something different.
Yeah.
I'm old now, so my daughter gets down really low because you're supposed to be really low when you shoot sports.
Mm-hmm.
The angle makes them look bigger.
Yeah.
It compresses your background's different and just gives a different feel, more action. I can't do that. I shoot with a monopod and I'm standing. I can crouch down, but my knees are they're kind of shot. And so I try to do different things. And so I'll bring my 85-1.2, which is like a portrait lens, out. And I'll just hide in like behind the bench and stuff like that. And I'll just try to get moments like a shot of them in between four other players, just trying to get them to look back at the right moment and capture that and blur everything out and just make it seem real dreamy and different. And then throw a ridiculous black and white filter on it and make it just look really grimy and grungy and everything. And it's just different.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, that's so great. Like, what was your inspiration? I don't have one. I don't have an inspiration.
The moment was
my
your inspiration
was I see something in my head that when I watch TV, you know how people always kind of crave that eye contact?
Yeah.
And that connection with someone when you actually
Yeah, I'm
you're
not
talking
getting
to
that
them?
right now. I see myself. That's been distracting me the entire time.
That is my point.
Yeah, I just see them like
That is my
should I
game.
sit like this? Like I could see the mirror image. in
Now you
your-
know how we feel when we're like looking at ourselves in the camera. It's
Yeah.
like the flame in Christmas Carol.
Well, you know what I was thinking
Your past.
when you were. The more you talk about this, the more I realize I think as much as I love talking to other people that aren't photographers, I think I need to bring more people in that are photographers because I liken it to like when I was playing music, and I would hear a band. It was always 311. You know, when I was a kid, I loved them. I still love them. But their drummer, Chad Sexton, anytime I would hear the music that he played, I would after like half the album, I would go, I gotta go practice. It would like inspire me to go practice. And just sitting here talking to you and listening to you, like I have all these fucking ideas popping up in my head, and I'm like, I want to go shoot now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, and not to stroke your ego, but Why are you looking at Pat?
No rim shot.
Do you want him to stroke your ego?
Wow. Wow.
Logan's free touch is gonna cost.
Just the pee-pee touch. No, but
Very nice.
this is where it goes downhill. It always happens, but you do inspire me. You do inspire me to want to shoot more. So
Well,
thank
good.
You. Thank you for that.
That's and that's
High praise.
that is something that no matter what, even in my corporate job as a mentor for a long time, I always loved the fact watching my mentees get promoted, even way past my level of wherever I'm at. And it wasn't because I'm like, I wanted to say, I was the reason I got
did
there.
that.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be a step in their journey that didn't make them fall back 2 steps. I always want to be that springboard to that next thing. And that's what I try to be in every scenario. I want to look glass half full. Do I look at the other things and look at the bad and everything? Yes, of course. I was raised by my mother who's got mom's worst case scenario syndrome is beating around in my head like crazy. But I want people to learn from the mistakes that I've made.
Yeah.
And be able to change their own outcomes by not having to make those mistakes. There are certain mistakes that everybody should make. You know what? When you think you're better than you are and someone calls you on your shit, every single person should get that once in their life at least. Because it is a humbling feeling to understand you stepped one too far.
Yeah, you fucked up.
And you have to realize that, whether it's I could have handled a situation better, I could have done something better, I could have said the right thing or said a thing maybe a little bit differently or maybe been a little more compassionate to something. You need those experiences.
Yeah.
Everybody's been there. And just because I've made the mistakes doesn't mean you're going to be better because you know about them and you're not going to make them now.
Right.
There are certain things where even with Kira, I'm like, keep your mistakes small. Don't make big ones. It's real simple. Don't make the mistakes that are going to put you in jail or get you in trouble the rest of your life. Whatever.
Yeah.
But go out and live your life.
But know that those big mistakes can happen.
Yes. Understand that everything has a repercussion.
Yeah.
We have rules in place at Soscenic Photography that there are certain things that are not permitted musically on our posts.
Mm-hmm.
We have set those standards where I will put music out there. I don't mind obscenities. I have no issue with that. But
Thank God.
But we will not put things out there that don't represent us or shed us in a really good light.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's a lot of topics out there, but case in point, there are different uses of a word in rap culture that we like edited out. We'll make sure that we use
What
an
word
edited
is
version. A version that a word that their culture can use and that other cultures shouldn't use ever.
They who?
Stop it. Stop it. But I make it a point that I don't want something like I harken this back to like when my parents were raising me. Back in the day, it used to be, well, your kid could be president one day, so you need to make sure that when you grow up, this was a different time.
Yeah, no one says that anymore.
No, this was a different time.
These kids are fucking idiots.
But you don't put stuff the internet's forever.
Yeah, I know. I put a lot of bad shit out there.
I did too, but not bad
I'm
enough
still
to really come back
continuing to do it.
and fight me. So, I think that there's a lot that can go into a little bit of discretion.
Yeah.
And making sure, like I don't want to have like tracks on there where someone's talking about, let's just say they're talking about violence towards a person or women or whatever like that, or like a Diddy party kind of thing.
Wow.
I don't want to have that stuff on there. And so if I can avoid that and maybe use the instrumental version of the song or something to that extent, then that's what we go with. So we're very careful about the music that we use and the music choices that we use. Because I love rap music. It is what I grew up on. But I'm not dropping,
like gangster.
I'm not
rap.
dropping "Fuck the Police"
Yeah.
from NWA from back in the day
Yeah.
on a track.
I'm gonna put that totally.
Because-
when I make a clip, it's
Uh-oh.
totally. What's happening?
It
Did we just lose a light?
We are dimming.
was the first round of the MPs.
Oh my goodness.
Shit.
know
Seems
what's
like it
going
just
on.
got a little darker.
Yeah, that one dimmed out. I think right there.
Huh.
Interesting.
Who's watching?
I mean, lights still look good.
Okay.
Yeah, it still looks good.
Yeah.
Well, the power did go out earlier
Oh,
for about an hour.
I'm sure you were nervous.
Was super funny because about 30 minutes in, I get
sounded like this. Hey, so
no, it would have sounded like this, and it would have been no video. But when it happened earlier, like 30 minutes after it happened, like I get a text message from Clay County Electric.
Yeah.
Hey, your power's out. Like,
No shit. Thanks a lot. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, and then it came back on, and then I got 30 minutes later, I got another text message from him.
By the
saying,
way, your power's back on. Yeah, I know. I'm here.
thank God.
Thank you for
Yeah.
turning it back on. I guess it works for if
Johnny
you're
on
at
the
work or
spot.
whatever, but
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Just fix it. Don't take time texting me that it's out and that it's fixed. Just fix it.
It's automated, probably.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, it's, those kind of things. We basically have done everything that we
It's your
can.
ethics, the ethics of your business, and I think everyone should have those.
I just want to keep things on the up and up, and I want to make sure we do things the right way, because I don't want someone 10 years from now, when we are, I know that we're going to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we are going to develop this
Without a
into
doubt.
the preeminent. If nothing else, we are. When you hear Soscenic, you'll know exactly what that means.
Yeah,
Eventually,
I know what it means.
and I know that, and those are our goals to get there. But the last thing, like, I guess the example is, you don't want to have like the star quarterback for your football team, and then all of a sudden something comes out from like 10 years ago or whatever that he said some real dumbass shit on a drunken binger one night.
There's like a picture of him snorting lines.
and then the whole face of the organization, that he's at foundations, he's at charity events, he's at this, he's at that. Now he can't do any of that stuff because of that one dumb moment that he chose to just, and this whole generational thing. And we're gonna get on a soapbox because that stuff starts to fire me up.
I brought one.
I know.
That
stuff starts to get
on it.
That stuff starts to get me. This whole FOMO crap that's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
This fear of missing out. You're not missing out on anything if you're being yourself. You're not missing out on anything if you're being yourself.
Yeah.
This fear of missing out stuff, all it is this, oh, well, if I'm not at this party, or if I'm not at this show, or I'm not at this, then I'm not anybody and I'm not important. Are you kidding? You aren't important. None of us are important.
Nope.
There's 8 billion of us in the world. About 100 of us have the same likes and interests.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of us has a person that has the similar likes and interests. Find those people.
Yeah.
Find those people first. Then watch it grow and get into the... Stop with the fear of missing
If you
out.
even need people,
My Italian is really...
that's okay.
I
He almost knocked out Alana earlier, but I'm of the mind that I love my friends. I love that my friends are into the same shit that I'm into.
Are y'all jousting right now? in the middle of the
Surely you joust.
podcast? With your pants on?
I love that my friends are into the same things that I'm into, photography wise.
I love it.
No, but I'm of the mind that I don't need other people. You know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you turn the channel and go watch something else, because we'll be spending the next 2 hours talking about conspiracy theories and
we
weird
can.
thoughts of Jim's opinions.
Don't let
We
your
can.
kids
I
watch.
was just trying to actually talk about what we stay on topic, until I could pull my balls out again. I mean, if you want. No, but
All the views are going up now. Hold on.
Look at that.
yeah, don't worry, that's the biggest thing in that area. Wow. No, I need people for this. I like to have people for this, but I don't want anybody partner wise.
Damn, I was just about to pitch myself as being the next partner.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I am.
I have a gray beard.
I am looking
Unlike
for
Patrick, my beard's gray.
an
He's
apprentice
still gotta
for
come out.
Patrick.
I don't have a beard. Asshole.
I need an apprentice for Patrick. We need someone to come in and because the next two
And learn how to hit rim shots at the right time.
Yeah.
Wow. was ready that time.
That was fucking perfect.
That was just
The best
so
one
good.
all night.
Best one.
But yeah, you know, I mean, we are. I mean, if you want to come on, anyways, but yeah.
How many jobs do I need?
No, as I'm talking about, as far as like, if I'm going to do my photography business or I'm going to do this or that, I don't want partners. I don't want any of that. I want to be able to do my thing, and this is me. This is my shit. If you want to come work with me, like for me, or do some work for me, I'm okay with that. But understand that this is my shit, and that I have the final say in what happens here.
That is something that is a challenge that I'm battling with a lot.
Yeah.
Kira and I talk about that all the time, and she always is quick to remind me. She's like, hey, I still got a year of school left. When I'm done with school, then I can do a bunch of this stuff. And, you know, we don't need to go out and hire a bunch of people yet.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of covering one extra school.
Well, you're not going to 1099. I mean, you're not going to hire. They just go and do a job and get part of the money.
Right. But still, it's just, we have to get to a point where we own the brand.
Yeah.
Our vision is the brand, just like Graybeard Podcast.
And it
That's
stays
your
that
brand.
way.
It is your vision.
Right.
It is the way you do things. Anybody who comes in to work with you on this needs to understand, just like if you look at Rogan, anybody who comes in and helps him with his show, that's Rogan's show.
Yeah.
It's done his way, his lighting, his show. There's people can suggest things, but at the end of the day, it's his call.
Yeah.
On everything that gets shown and everything that gets produced. If you're going to own something, own it. I'm tired of people that just want to do things. They don't want to own things. I don't like just lazy doing things, and then it doesn't really matter. I want to see people start to own things. So I want to see people start to, and the younger generations, I want to see them start to own their brands. There's a lot of people that are just taking pictures.
Okay.
And they're doing good work. They're doing great work. I want to see brand development. That seems to be lost in this marketing generation because everything is so easy with AI. Everybody can have a polished website, this, that, and the other. I'm working on a new website now that's going to be completely different than the website that I have out there. The one I have out there, I created by hand when I was doing my normal 40-hour-a-week job, and I was not even a photographer yet. So you all have to forgive me if it looks a little bit archaic when you look at the website.
Looks better than my website.
But I went for a visual standpoint, and that was really what I wanted to do. I wanted to feel like it was Soscenic photography, and at the time I was a landscape photographer. So it feels like that. But I own my brand. People recognize whether they know it as Soscenic or they know it as SOS, because I've now started to have this trend where people are like, oh, I knew that was SOS right from the start. And I'm like,
what? They don't want...
I'm like, okay. Well, I'm like, everybody wants to shorten things up. And they all want. I'm like, whatever. You know, I have it on my, you know, at fast food restaurants. A lot of times on my apps on my phone, it'll come across as Soscenic and instead of my name. And so you have like some worker at the fast food place. Like, yeah, Soscenic, here's your order. I'm like, the fuck. I'm like, there's no O in that word. I'm
Don't
like,
drop your rings on the way up to the thing, Sonic.
I'm like, what the heck? Oh, now he's with it. We just only took an hour and 25 minutes.
He could tell it was obviously a bit. Now he's just going to intermittently throw them in there.
It'll be thrown in all nice. You know, be talking.
These rim shots are brought to you by
Rim shot.
Vagisil.
Vagisil. I love that. Thank you.
Vagiclean.
Thank you for your cervix.
Aisle 5.
Thank you for
We need a
your
price check on
cervix.
Vagiclean in aisle 5. Me, myself, and Irene.
Yep.
Most underrated movie ever.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I love that movie.
I love it as well.
That's so good.
Now I'm just thinking about it. I'm going to watch that soon now.
I am too. I will have that while I'm editing. I will have that on tonight while I'm editing.
Mama.
Many
breasts are brought to you by... Sorry. So, you okay.
Wow. Transition much?
No, I didn't
Actually,
even...
I've never.
You're right. I don't think I ever have. I didn't even have anything to say, but I was just like, we just got to keep going.
Segway.
No, those things are horrible. I think they outlawed those. When that dude, the guy that
was Paul Blart.
The guy that owned the company when he went off a cliff. In
Really?
LA.
The guy who owned the Segway company went off a cliff on a Segway?
Yeah, he rode it off. He was trying to miss a dog, and he went right off of a. I think that was the owner. I mean, you could probably look that up, but
They still have Segway tours in like New York. I'm like, you couldn't pay me to get on one of those things in New York City.
if the battery dies while you're riding, you're face planting at full speed. It's not going to be a good situation. You forgot to go to Google first.
Oh, damn it.
You're going to go to Yahoo. I know you hate Yahoo. Hold on.
Never getting sponsored now. Did
just
the
watching what
Segway
he's-
inventor die on a Segway is the first thing that comes up.
Yes, the owner of Segway, Jim Heselden, died in a Segway-related accident. He was riding a Segway off a cliff and into a river on his estate in West Yorkshire, England. The incident was deemed an accident.
I like how they said he was riding a Segway off a cliff. Like, I'll be right back, honey. I'm just going to go take this Segway right off the cliff.
There's a couple of little crumpets down there I'm going to eat.
Jim Heselden.
Jesus.
Yeah, leave it to be a person named
He was worth
Jim.
$500 million and he fucking rode off.
You
a
never
cliff.
know when it's going to happen. You may not have 2 decades.
You're right about that.
I for sure don't. But, I mean, I'm going to be upright the whole time, though. All the way to my death.
Damn.
You really missed that one.
Sorry, I was reading.
He's
this.
reading.
He owned the company for 9 months at the time of his accidental death.
Yeah, you should have.
That's
That's you should learn. He should have learned from like coke dealers.
worth
You know, it was
Don't-
some guy. It was some guy who was like, "Hey, here's the new Segway, sir. This is our new technology. Go take it for a spin."
No, he was probably like, "Give me that goddamn thing. I know how to ride that."
Yeah, that sounds like somebody from London.
Was he from London or?
Somewhere.
He was in London when he died.
Listen, that's in my head. That's what he
West
sounded
Yorkshire.
like. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at him, he looks like one of those.
You ever
give me
talked
that
about
thing.
somebody in West? Well, I was in West Yorkshire and I was eating some of them crumpets. It was real good.
They got people that talk like that out there. The Southerners of Yorkshire. You never heard that? Excuse me, sir.
The Tron glasses
Well,
he's got sporting on those things.
Paul
are pretty
Revere.
funny.
If Paul Revere rode a Segway, we'd all have British accents still. So
Watch, all of a
Fuck
sudden
that
we're
guy.
gonna be like we're gonna get like a cease and desist order from
I know,
Segway
right?
for talking about.
for talking mad shit.
Why does that still say live?
Because I have it.
No,
refreshed
that.
it from last week. See, watch.
Oh, I was about to say, and yeah, I
Oh,
gotta
God.
update that photo.
Yes, please do.
And I made sure because I was like, I know I updated.
I
that
don't
photo.
mind that one. That one's actually from Studio 442.
Yeah, but it doesn't go with my new little doodad thingy that I got going.
Doodad.
Yeah, my thumbnail.
Your doodad.
You don't like my new thumbnails?
He used the term doodad.
Dude, dad. He is a dad. Dude, dad.
I
Doodad.
am a dad and I do things.
Doodad.
That's right. What are you doing for Father's Day tomorrow, man? What's going on? What's everybody doing for you?
I hate birthdays and Father's Day and all that stuff because I don't like the attention to be about me.
Yeah,
I
we all
like being
feel-
behind the camera.
we all feel the same way. By the way,
You know, I might. You know, we may go to the movie theater for a change. I haven't been to a movie theater in like 3 years. I may go see the Mission Impossible movie just to be like, you know what, finish it off.
get
Seen all the other
inspiration
8.
from 80-year-old Tom Cruise jumping off of airplanes and shit.
No, I just just the movie experience has changed so much that it's like you get more entertainment by watching the movie at home.
You know, there's going to be Scientology people parked right outside so whenever you come out, they're
I
going
don't
to try
really
to
pay much attention to that shit.
they're going to try to enlist you though.
Well, that's fine. You can. I mean, back in the day, there were people
I'd rather
at
it
the
be
airports
Mormons.
handing out pamphlets. I mean, it's same stuff.
Yeah.
You know what?
True story.
I'm going to try and relax a little bit. I'll probably do a little bit of work, but I'm not going to do too much. I'm very proud of the father that I am.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I think I'm a great dad, but I just think that I executed a plan that I had set forth early on when I had my child. I kind of set out to do things a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
and I stuck to it. And I've stuck to it every single day since the day she was born.
Yeah.
And she seems to have turned out so good. Like I'm waiting. I'm
It
waiting.
was a long pause.
I'm waiting for because I want to say she turned out better than so many people, but I know that that's a cringy thing to say. That
Sure.
my kid's better than your kid. I'm not saying
Every
that by
parent
any
says
means.
that inside their head.
But I'm so impressed by her that it's like, I did things when I was growing up that disappointed my mother.
Yeah.
And let my mother down in terms of like I dropped out of college to go back to work, and I didn't want to finish even though I was a straight A student. I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. I applaud the fact that she's treated her life like a job and understood who the players were always. So my daughter lives her life very much under the gauge of knowing who's in charge, whether it's her or somebody else. She knows who's in charge, who's paying the bill, who's controlling the narrative, who's controlling the issue, who's controlling the situation, whether it's her or someone else. She always seems to be very self-aware of where she is in that hierarchy.
Which is rare for children her age.
Yes.
Young people, young adults.
So when I see that, and I see her executing that way, and I see the way she thinks about it, and a lot of times I'll just ask her a question, and she'll be like, what, did I do something wrong? I go, I just want to hear your mind. I want to hear what you were thinking going into that scenario. What was the reason you did it this way? What was the reason you took that shot? What was the reason you filmed
Not
this way?
saying it's wrong.
There is no right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's your version or not your version. That's it. But I wanted to see what she's thinking. And every time she speaks about why she did something, I'm always so impressed by the understanding that she has of where she is in the environment and the scenario that she's at. It's just, I'm very proud of the work that, more importantly, her mother has put in. And me trying not to fuck it all up at the same time by being inappropriate dad jokes and bad humor and whatever else, and always trying to make light of a situation that may be serious.
You just described me.
You know,
am I a fuck up?
I'm trying to, I don't give myself that much credit, but I am proud of the fact that I stuck to the plan. And the plan seemed to have worked for my child. Would it work for every child?
Why don't you give
Maybe
yourself
not.
that much credit?
I don't give myself credit for anything.
Why? You do a lot of extraordinary things. Like, I don't understand why, and I bring that up and I ask that because it's not just you. As we know, it is Men's Mental Health Month.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of creators, a lot of content creators.
Really glad you don't have that sound effect right now.
No. But yeah, because it's not. I mean, we make light of it, and I think that's probably part of the problem. But I mean, I think there's a lot of content creators that I see out there there's some that are going to bat, and they're there to support, and then there's some that are just downright fuck men, fuck whatever, and it's completely the opposite. But a lot of what I see is that a lot of men, like,
we do not know how to take compliments.
That part, and we don't really need to be recognized. We don't need to be attaboyed. We like it, but we don't say that we like it, and we don't need it.
Here's the problem.
Se.
I don't want the attaboy for the sake of the attaboy. So I was brought up in corporate America, where you start every meeting with, let's start with some recognition.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Just get to the meat.
For doing your fucking job.
Why are we forcing people to recognize other people?
Right.
And it defeats the whole definition of what recognition is about.
Yeah.
If you have to force it, it's not real. And so when I look at it, I am often very uncomfortable when someone gives me true recognition. Because I don't know how to react to it, because the cynical in me, the part that has been like the situations and scenarios I've been in where I've been screwed over so many times or falsely told I was good at something or did this or did that, and then it turned out to be a trick to get me to do something else. Those games go on in corporate America all the time.
Oh, no doubt.
And all the times I've been burned with that, it makes it tough. I even felt bad. I a couple of months ago, I was on the softball field, and one of my clients came up to me after the game, and I couldn't believe this because I was kind of blown away. But I was on the field. It was the last game of the year, and we were taking photos and stuff like that. And she came up to me and she goes, "I just wanted to say thank you for all that you've done. Your photos are great. We love the experience, and we love working with you, and I really appreciate all the work that you're doing."
Right.
This is like a 17-year-old girl that just walked up to me and said this to me.
Which is huge coming from someone that age.
And I was like, I almost felt like I don't even remember what came out of my mouth, but I'm sure it was like awkward and stupid. I was just like, I was blown away by the fact that what we've set out to do every day, that people see it.
Mm-hmm.
And when that comes to fruition, it's very much like the voiceover thing. When you hear somebody put your vision into a voice on an advertisement, it's like, I almost freeze. I almost don't know what to do because it's real. We're all so used to everything being fake that we don't know how to act when something's actually real.
Right.
I think that the younger generations have a hard time with relationships because of that. Everything is fake. People don't go, I guess nowadays, people don't go out on dates anymore. You Snapchat with each other, an interview process, basically. What you're into, what you like, this kind of stuff. And then that's how you get to know
people are still using Snapchat. I mean,
yeah, no, trust me, they're still using Snapchat.
Oh yeah, people are.
But that's kind of like, it's like they have to go through like an application process. Well, that's not real. That's like you're just trying to find the ultimate perfect match. Well, great, that's called a dating service. That's called like online dating. And that works for some people. But what happened to, hey, let's go get a burger and go check out a movie and let's just have a couple of hours where we can sit and talk to each other about
nowadays
the things we want to do in our lives.
With stuff like that, the expectations for young people for dating is so ridiculous nowadays that you almost have to have a pre-interview before you even decide that you're going to go spend time with this person. That's how they do it. They want somebody that makes $100 million a year, that is 6'7", blonde hair, blue eyes, or whatever your physical traits are, but you've got to be jacked. You got to look a certain way, and it's always.
Well, what that's done now it's ruined men.
Yeah, a little bit.
The
guys are a little jaded.
Way jaded. Like way jaded.
Yeah.
Like now
that's
now
where
you can't
hookup
have
culture comes into play.
Yeah. Now you can't have
like I don't want to
somebody
date
be
you.
more successful than them.
Yeah.
We're back to that again.
Yeah, but if you're
what is
not
it, like the 60s all over again? This is ridiculous.
But if you're not more successful than them, then you're a loser. But if you do make more money than them, then you're part of the problem. So it's like a double-edged sword.
If you're dating somebody who's talented at something, no matter what it is, if you're dating somebody who's talented at something, like a talented musician or a talented artist or a talented executive or whatever, whether it's the man or the woman in the relationship, that should be irrelevant.
You should date people based on their character.
Do you like being around them?
Yeah.
Do you wish to spend time with them? Do you have things in common? Like, I don't understand how dating went from, hi, now we're in bed.
Well, I
think it's a lot of.
I was going to say something completely worse, and then I thought to myself, "You're a father of a daughter. Just shut your mouth."
People are just looking to see what you can bring to elevate my status. That's all it is anymore. It isn't anything about who you are. It's about what you can do for me to elevate my status.
My daughter and I talked about that earlier, actually, today when we were talking about. My wife used to work at a very popular makeup store.
Sorry, Patty.
You're good.
I work at a very popular makeup store. Mm-hmm. And now the viral trend is all these 10, 11, 12-year-olds are going to this viral makeup store, and they're doing skincare routines. What do 10, 11, and 12-year-olds need vitamin C and serums and all this stuff on their face for?
They don't.
They don't. But it's viral, so they think that they're supposed to be there. Mm. And it's like we've set false expectations for everything that, these kids do now.
Fucking social media.
But it's not social media.
It is.
It's not social media.
Here's my
it's
argument.
The parenting and the development that goes into whether or not your kids take social media with what it is. Did TV ruin people? Lots of people? The way social media does now?
No.
But
No, but the mainstream
people
news
used to-
media
right.
pushing the narratives on it ruined people.
Right. But they
You know?
basically...
It's the content, is what I'm saying.
But right, and the content that's there and what gets pushed on there is fine. But from
Well,
a
back in
television,
our days-
MTV did not ruin our lives.
Yeah.
MTV enriched our lives.
Back in our days, though, it was more shit that was in the What we heard a lot was like, the unrealistic physical expectations of women based on supermodels in magazines. So all these girls growing up had, eating disorders like bulimia and anorexia,
Right.
trying to get their weight to a certain point.
Right.
And, but now it's like body positivity. We don't care what size you are, whatever, but that's probably, I don't know which one's better. I don't think that giving people any kind of disorder.
Being
whether
healthy should be what
Well,
is
that's
the focus.
true, but it's never the focus. The
No.
focus is now it's like, it's okay if you're big. It's okay if you're small. Just be who you are. But maybe, if you have an eating disorder or some kind of disorder at all, maybe work on that part first, that disorder first. The rest of it will fall into line. And like you said, focus on your health overall. That's all I want for people, is just to be happy, or at least be able to pursue happiness because they're healthy.
It's the worlds are so different. Like depending on where you're at, like the fashion world obviously is still, a certain way, and sports world, athletes need to be bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah, I know we've had this conversation before.
It's always interesting to me to see when you parent somebody correctly, when you give them perspective, when you try to give them at least a view of what life is like outside of the fake world that is social media.
Education.
That's where I think we've gone wrong. Everything is 140 characters or less.
Right.
So you're only reading the headline. So now you're only seeing this or you're only seeing that, and you're not seeing what the meaning is behind it.
10-second content.
Case in
video.
point, there was a time where, I think 6 months ago or whatever, Madonna's Like a Prayer song was on every meme and every Instagram profile. Churches were using it,
Mm-hmm.
and commercials
Yeah, I
were
remember
using
seeing
it.
that. Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all realize that
What that song was really about?
what she's singing about is not what you think it is. There is no praying going on in that song. That is not what that's about. That song was actually banned by the Vatican. She almost got into an enormous amount of trouble back in the day for it to just turn around, and churches were showing singing and dancing about and to the song, and I'm like, wait.
But this is my whole point
What
that I
happened?
was gonna make a few minutes ago. Is people now don't go on dates anymore. Their standards have changed.
Yeah.
And the standards have changed because they're interacting with more people, whether it be through social media or just their day-to-day interactions. If you were to think about somebody 50 years ago, right?
Right.
Let's say when you were just born, right? And how societal norms were
Did
then.
he just call you 50?
You're getting close to, right?
Oh, I'm already 50.
That's what I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my
I
bad.
turned
So-
50 last December, you bastard. I thought you were my friend.
I know, but to me,
Didn't you
you'll
send me
always-
the card?
To me, you'll always be 38.
Kira, if you're listening, make sure that we check to see if Jim's off the Christmas card list.
Fine.
but back then, the norms in society were way different. You didn't have phones. Very
Yeah.
seldom.
You met people in the real world.
Yeah, you had face-to-face interactions with them. So it's now we're interacting with 8 billion other people on this planet, and we have these ideas we have all these grand ideas of what we think we want now and what we need. When in essence, step back 50 years ago, take all this away, it was the simple things that made you happy. The dopamine release that you would get going on those dates was much greater, I bet, compared to what is now.
It was excitement.
Yeah.
I
Meeting
would
someone
be
new.
I would be excited to go on a date with a girl. It was maybe I'll get to hold her hand.
Excited. It was more nervous. It was nerve-wracking.
too.
I mean,
All of it.
that taught a
All the
lot.
things.
That was a humbling experience.
I gave my antiperspirant a workout. Just put it that way. Sweating, baby. My pits was sweating. We had some wet pits.
I mean, I look back. I mean, when you look at even proms and stuff like that, It's like everybody goes as a group now.
That's a sore subject for me, prom.
And with me, my first date with my wife was her prom.
Oh,
I was in college, so I came down for her senior prom, and
Robin the Cradle.
she didn't even talk to me the whole night. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's a different story for another day.
And you hypnotized her.
I won in the end. I won.
Wow. Okay.
No, but they don't get to experience that.
No.
And I don't know what the answer is. Like the toughest thing is I've been able to parent. Speaking of like a Father's Day kind of concept here,
Yeah.
I've been raising Kira with so many things, and she'll ask questions and we'll give answers and this, that, and the other. But when it comes to dating, like any answer you and I give a younger person literally makes no sense to them.
Right.
They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, he should come and pick you up. He should open the door. If he doesn't open your car door, leave. There's got to be a level of respect that starts from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're looking for a guy that's been raised right.
But nowadays, if a guy does that,
They're trying too hard.
it gives him the ick.
Right, because they're trying too hard. Oh, well, what are you trying to get out of it? You trying to get in my pants already?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? He's just being respectful because his mom taught him to hold a door open for a woman. It's like, come on.
Those guys know to wait till the third date. Okay. 3 dates, pooty.
Keep your creepy stuff private until date 4 like the rest of them.
That's right. Day 3.
If you ever seen Office Christmas Party, it's really fun.
Well, I feel like if you open the door on the first date, then that's a good like litmus test. If they
What is
bitch
that?
about that.
What
It's
was
like,
that?
Oh, I don't need this one if she doesn't want me to open the fucking door.
What was
for
that
her.
movie with
That's
Chaz
right. That's right.
Palminteri?
Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale.
Oh, heck yeah.
I based my my dating life and my
Heck
dating
yeah.
world on that movie, that one scene.
If she opens up the door after you let her in the car, if she unlocks
yep.
your door, is she, if she makes that effort,
Yeah.
then she's worth it. Now, down in today's world, everything's automatic locks, so it
Well,
really doesn't work the
sure.
same. But back then, yeah, it was a litmus test to, was she interested?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, when I was dating, that's all I was. I wanted to get to know people, and find people that I have common interests with. That, we joke around all the time at our generation. Like for us, we grew up. We were cruising Wadsworth and Kipling in West Denver, Colorado, cruising Taco Bells
Okay.
at night. So we'd get done with school or summertime or whatever, and by 6 o'clock, we were all out of our houses and all of our cars were at the nearest Taco Bell, and we were all together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd all cruise to the next one when we heard the cops were coming or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we would do that all night, and that was every night.
Yeah.
And my mom would be like, well, all you're doing is hanging out and getting in trouble. I'm like, no. We're meeting people
Yeah.
every
That
night
was your social
that have
media.
similar interests,
Yeah.
and we're not causing any problems.
It was just fun.
It was just a good time to hang out and meet people, and that was your dating pool.
Yeah.
Those people that were already there, that was your dating pool.
For me, it was like people I knew. Like, obviously when I was a kid, it was like people you would date, people you went to school with,
Mhm.
because you know them, you're there with them every day, you talk to them every day,
Yep.
or it was like it was socially acceptable to like you met someone at work because you're with them every single day. You
Yep.
develop a friendship, and then it's like, hey, do you want to go out sometime? Because you're with those people
Yep.
every day, so you really get to know them, and you want to get to know them better. But then it was like, oh shit, it didn't work out, so now it's awkward, and so people are like, they're gun shy of that, and then it creates problems at work with management. We're dating their workers and stuff like that, so it's like, it's kind of frowned upon
But
by
those
HR.
are the things that you have to think about.
Yeah.
Those are things that they've lost. They've lost that now
Yeah.
because they no longer even have to think about
There's
that
whole
stuff.
experiences that certain generations past a certain point up until the future, they'll never experience. But on the flip side, they're going to experience things that we've never even thought that could be possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope.
They'll be dating robots eventually.
Probably. I
Yeah,
hope
that's-
I am eventually. I can't wait to get one of them around here.
It's gonna have a big hog.
What the? I'm gonna come. Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
You're a mess,
We
fucker.
It's been a long week.
It has been.
How much of that How much of that ventilation deprivation have you going through?
It's just beating up an addicts, man.
All that glue.
Feeling like you're a fucking zombie.
You've been huffing mastic all day.
What did you say?
Mastic, the glue that they put the.
Yeah, that's not what I thought you said.
Oh, my bad.
Mass dick.
Oh, he's been huffing mass dicks. That would be moss. Okay, that's how you say that. I guess. Anyways,
This portion of the podcast brought to you by
Soscenic
Adam
Photography.
and Eve.
oh,
Soscenic.
I'm trying to tarnish your name over here.
That's great. I appreciate that so much.
No, you'll do fine.
I've tarnished myself enough.
I don't think. I think that if anybody that I think they're going to enjoy people that follow your brand and you. I think they would enjoy this conversation and seeing a side of you that they never see.
Probably, that's another thing that that's an interesting segue conversation there because
Segue it up. Just don't fly off any cliffs.
yeah, I have not. Wow, he's on it. That's 3 for 3.
I paid him.
Back to you, Bob. So I like the fact that my sports page. I hit 500 followers on my sports page. It was like 100 followers about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I view that as a milestone because I did not try.
Yeah.
And so I went from 100 to 500 just out of these are clients that love watching this stuff. They watch it over and over and over again. They're clients, they're parents, they're friends of their friends, and everybody loves the work. And I'm on the field and I hear somebody say, Soscenic, it's just a cool feeling. And I love that
It's
camaraderie it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Our original pages were built off of follow for follow groups and all of that stuff back in the day where most of my followers are probably like people that haven't seen my content in years
or ever. Yeah.
And that's the frustrating part of that is that I'm contemplating and tempted to restart my Soscenic photography page from scratch.
Ooh. Like your original page?
Keep the original page.
Okay.
But just kind of let it be a visual archive.
Okay.
Or whatever. But start up a new Soscenic photography page from scratch going forward with a new audience and literally just see how fast that audience would grow based on the work that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like when you look at the fashion accounts and the fashion work that we do and the slow motion video and everything that we're doing with all that stuff, I think it could go really good. I think it could be viral in a lot of cases. My account's so shadow banned over the years from either buying ads and then no longer buying ads anymore through Meta because they punish you for that.
Yeah.
Don't for a second thing that they don't, they do. If you buy from them, then they want you to buy from them forever. And if you stop, your account no longer gets pushed anywhere. Mm-hmm. I've been suffered from that problem for a long time.
Yeah.
Case in point, you have to type almost my entire username to find me, to get tagged. Now I have to look up.
Oh.
Thought you were used to it.
No rim shot? You even had your own.
He didn't even rim shot himself.
But bumps.
No, I get that. And I will say.
Will he last 8 seconds?
Here we go. I have been watching.
We'll find out in 7.
I've been watching a lot. Jesus Christ. TikTok. Okay, so
He's
like
not here right now.
I get like on the FYP or whatever. I've been getting these little videos where content creators are trying to give you advice.
Yeah.
On gaining followers and subscribers and shit.
Such horse shit.
And they're like, go do this thing. And the newest one is go to your settings and privacy section, and where it says, like phone contacts and close friends or whatever, to turn those off, because what TikTok does when you upload something, it sends it out to the people that you actually know.
Yeah.
First, and they send it out to 300 people immediately.
And based on how those 300 people react to it is how it
keeps going.
Yeah.
So if it's all your family and friends and they don't react to it, then it doesn't go anywhere else. Well, ever since I've done that, I have gotten less fucking views than I've ever gotten in my life. Like in half.
If you think about all of this stuff and all of these get
Hacks.
follower hacks and make money, and I make $5,000 to $10,000 a month on my faceless YouTube channel. go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is such horse shit. It is intended to bury the people that aren't willing to put the work in. It's basically a combing through, weeding out the people that are trying,
Yeah.
so that only the experts, only the ones that actually are grinding every day are going to hit success. And I'm sorry, that to me is the same thing as I'm going to law school and I'm going to screw over every other student in my class so that I'm the best student there so that I get the job at the law firm.
Right.
What are we doing? There are 8 billion people in this world. What are we doing? You are not that important.
Nope.
Not one of us is that important. Communities, working together, collaboration, that's important. Finding the network within your own niche is important. Stepping on people to get somewhere is never going to get you anywhere. I stopped doing that a long time ago because I realized real fast in the corporate world that it will come back to bite you in the long run.
Yeah.
And I stopped it, and I lost out on opportunities because of it, because I wouldn't turn on somebody, or I wouldn't do this, or I wouldn't do that. Lost a ton of opportunities. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to have my work ethic my way every time. It's going to be to my benefit. I wish more people had that kind of attitude. I wish more people would talk to each other, including photographers, about their craft.
Yeah.
Instead of, I was at an event where someone asked me what the Kelvin number was for the lighting, and somebody else snapped back at them like, figure it out yourself. I'm like, you don't think they're going to be able to just put auto white balance on and figure out what the Kelvin number is on the camera? It tells you.
Yeah.
If you do it right, it'll tell you. But why are you snapping back at them saying, figure it out yourself? Just tell them it's 3200 for the light's too yellow in the studio.
Right.
Tell them it down there. Just start down there and work your way one way or the other from there, and you'll be all right.
At least give something.
Give something.
That other person they needed a hug.
Yeah, it's sad.
They were hurting.
I don't. I look at I appreciate. I'll tell you this much, and if this gets out to anyone, I hope that this part kind of gets out to a lot of people that, everything that goes on behind the scenes at those fashion shows, those people work their ass off. Those photographers are in that pit an hour and a half before the scheduled start of the show. No fashion show goes off on time. They're usually an hour later, if not more. You're talking like you're investing like 7 hours a night sitting on a Pelican box just to get your position so that you got the right shot to be able to give to Getty, to be able to make the $75 on that one shot. And they are there every night, day in, day out, show from show. Shout out to all the folks at Art Hearts Fashion, because they are an incredible family that have treated me really good over the years with Chris. But there's so much behind the scene that goes on, and you see it if you go back and you watch a lot of the stuff, or whenever it's Swim Week. If you hear me going to Swim Week or Art Basel with Chris Lavish, watch his stories, watch what goes on, watch the interactions that go on behind the scenes. It is such an amazing roller coaster to be on. And when people are like, oh, wow, it's so exciting to watch all that stuff going on. Is it really like that? It's really like that. It is crazy. There are people back there, yelling at models and this, that, and the other, going, remember, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And you have to do all these things, and everyone has to listen. And it's nuts, and it's crazy. And it's as simple as, from a photography standpoint, if you have a model walking out and a model walking back, they have to make sure they keep their line where they're supposed to be, or the photographers in the pit cannot get the shot lined up with the logo in the background and them. They cannot do that. If you walk the line, you're walking in front of each other. It's not going to look right. So make sure you walk your line. Practice your walk. Practice your facial expression. There are people back there. I was joking around. I'm like, I felt like I was watching Magic Mike or whatever, because I walked through the BTS on the final night, and it was a menswear brand that was coming out, and all the male models were back there, and they're all getting ready, and there's like a couple of guys that are on the floor doing one-arm push-ups right before they walk out on stage, And I'm thinking to myself, as funny as that seems, I know exactly why they're doing that.
I'd
because they
be trying
know,
to work one up so it looks better.
Right. So they know that they're going to get their body flexed exactly the right way in order for them to keep their posture right so they can walk down the runway and look good when they're getting their photos taken, because that is their life. That photo image that Getty captures them on the runway,
they're professionals,
makes or breaks their career. So I have so much respect for all the people that put those shows together.
Yeah.
Because it is just amazing. And the unsung heroes of the fashion shows are the PR girls. And guys too. There's a lot of PR guys that are out there as well. So I would just say the PR people, because those people are the ones that navigate and negotiate who's sitting where, who's getting access, who's in there, when are they getting in there. The impression and the feel and the experience that you get at the show is the PR person's responsibility, especially for a VIP guest.
Imagine it's a lot of snap decisions that have to be perfect.
For the longest time, like the first 2 years with Chris, nobody knew who I was. Nobody really associated me with him.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to the front to get into the show, the security guards are only allowing the VIP guests in. Well, I'm the guy right behind him holding the camera on him. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had to have an argument with the security guy going, he's my client. I'm not here for any other reason. I literally have to film him walking into the room to see who gives him a hug and do all these different things. I said, I have requirements and responsibilities just like you do as a security person. I have requirements to stay on his side too when he's walking into a venue where he doesn't know who's around.
Right.
That's my responsibility. It takes the PR people to recognize that.
Yeah.
And give me the proper credential access.
Right.
And give me the proper access and then get me introduced to the right people. This week, I walked in, I was right behind him. There was no question. They saw the credential that I had with me. They saw the respect that was going on there. And they knew who I was, because a lot of them I've started to recognize over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And they treated me with the utmost respect. And I'm forever grateful for that, because
now you can do your job.
Now I don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where I would be like, I wouldn't be let in somewhere. Well, he can't go in there by himself.
Well,
who's getting the content?
So what would he do?
He'd come back, and we'd either get me negotiated in, or we would leave. If they don't let his camera people in, we're gone. Bye. You don't want him sitting front row? Bye. We're gone. At the end of the day, he's paid to be seen. On his pages, on Fashion Week Online pages, on runways across the world.
I'm very curious about that. How does one get to that stage where you're like, you're famous for being there?
By doing fashion runway coverage on MySpace in 2010. That's
what he was doing?
This goes all the way back to MySpace in 2010.
Like I have a hair. Sorry.
He's picking at old man hair. He's like, where did this one grow? This one grew overnight. Holy cow.
It's not like you're the Great Beard podcast or anything.
No, it's like
I got a gray beard and there's a gray hair here. Well, this one's brown. What the hell is this?
I get them like out of the corner of my eye. It's just like, and it fucking bothers the shit out of me. No, I often
tell us how you really feel, Jim.
It bothers the shit out of me. Get off my grass. I do often wonder, like, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, how did he get to be who he is?
Hard fucking work, perseverance, not giving a flying rat's ass what anybody thinks, and understanding he is the market. So he set it up where he's the website that you want the articles written about your line. He's the website who does the ticket sales for the shows. He's the website. He's the show behind the show. But here's the difference. He treated Fashion Week with the utmost of respect.
Yeah.
No matter what Fashion Week it is. He gives them the respect, the process, the show, the whole kit and caboodle, whatever you want to call it.
So is he like a journalist?
He is a journalist. He's a coordinator. He used to be a model.
Okay.
He knows all the modeling circles and the designer circles. He is a piece of art walking anyway because of all the artwork that he has, all of them. And so he's a walking piece of art. People want to be around him. People want to be seen with him.
Huh.
He treats the fashion world and the fashion industry like they are the number one. So the easiest thing is, it's like how I treat my wife after 32 years of dating and 26 years of marriage.
It's go a lot of ways.
How I treat my wife is she is the number one in everything that I do. Hands down, number one in everything I do. I put her up on a pedestal higher than anyone else, period. Because that is the person who supported me through everything.
And still does.
And we have essentially become best friends.
Mm-hmm.
As an additional benefit to everything else that comes with marriage. So I treat her as she's the first thought I have in the morning. She's the last thought I have at night. She is the first thought that I have anytime I have to make a decision on anything. She is the first thought on what we're going to do today. It's not what I'm going to do today. It's what we're going to do today, or what is she going to do today, or what my interest is in her, number one, first off, and everything works off of that.
It's very sweet.
That's how he treats Fashion Week. You're an asshole.
I'm serious. I'm sorry.
So Fashion Week is his wife.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And that's when he treats it that way, it all flows the exact way. And people respect him. He respects them. It is the process. He understands the hard work that goes into everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes it so that when he is paid to showcase something. So if you want press, they show you respect, you show them respect.
Mm-hmm.
If they show you disrespect, same, right back.
Yeah, match tone.
And so when you hear, like, everything you see on the stories that he puts out on the stories and everything, you think he's just, it's bravado or whatever, this and that. Everything is tied into a certain story or an event that's happened during the week.
I got you.
Everything. And so it's always fun to watch his stories.
Mm-hmm.
And when I share his stories, because most of the work is stuff that I've created, it's fun to watch it because I know what the actual meanings behind all of it are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am like Vegas. I am a locked safe box. So I don't share the behind the scenes stories that I can't share.
I'll never ask.
But the experience and to see that machine that he is, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But being number one is not for everyone. That's why there's only one number one.
I like number two. I just want to be number. I just want to. Oh fuck. Okay.
I prefer number three, but that's an inside joke.
Hey.
To other people.
So combination.
Yeah. But
he's not loving you with those rim shots tonight.
No. Not feeling the
I
love.
think number three deserved a rim shot. I mean,
I'm not feeling the love.
What's number 3? What do you do on a number 3?
What do you mean?
You pee and poop at the same time?
What, have you never seen Dirty Grandpa?
I mean, I have, but it's been a long time. I remember the saggy balls.
No, not that Johnny Knoxville bullshit.
Oh.
The Robert De Niro movie with Zac
I never
Efron.
saw that.
No, I don't think I've ever.
I don't think I ever
You're
saw
missing
that.
out. You're missing out.
You know they're coming out with a.
You're absolutely missing out. Like it should be. It's a must watch. You should.
Okay.
You please go. Home
They're making
and watch
a
it.
Happy Gilmore too.
That's gonna be terrible.
You think so?
There's no way they can't. Come on.
Come on.
Sequels suck.
Maybe.
There's only a few that don't.
Adam Sandler's pretty good though.
Adam Sandler is a washed-up actor that has not been good for years.
He's actually a comedian, but
I'm not even sure he was ever a good actor. He was just a good comedian, and he just had good friends that
yeah.
like to make.
I
funny
don't think I've
movies.
ever actually seen any of his.
Oh
stand-up,
no,
though.
we suck again. Waterboy. Come on now.
Yeah.
All right.
My mama said that alligators always bad because they got all the teeth, ain't got no toothbrush. Well, mama's wrong again. You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders. So good.
Oh, my goodness.
They're making a Spaceballs too.
No.
I think they're making a Step Brothers too.
Mel Brooks is actually going to reprise. What was it? Not Yoda, but oh god, Yogurt. He's reprising his role as Yogurt. and Bill Pullman will be in it.
Bill Pullman's dead.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's dead.
The guy that did the Independence Day.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking Twister.
No, you're thinking of John Candy.
No,
that played
I'm thinking
Barf.
Twister. The original guy in Twister.
That guy's not. Is he dead?
Yeah,
he died
heart attack.
last year, I
Get the
think.
fuck out of. It shows you how much I care about celebrities.
Yeah. So that's why he wasn't in the Twister sequel,
Couldn't give a fuck less.
Yeah, he got sucked up into
which
a tornado.
actually sucked, by the way.
Oh, did it?
I wasn't very.
I will
wasn't a
never.
big fan.
That dude will never be anybody but Chet from Weird Science. Sorry, he will always forever be Chet. And not only that, but he will be the
that laugh too.
that
oh man,
when she turned him to the talking lard of shit, and there's like bubbling pus out and shit. Come on, like that. That's forever. He'll be that guy.
Yeah, wow. That's something our kids' generation will never understand is the sheer impact of the movie Weird Science.
I mean, they're kind of getting to know it now
molded.
with AI girls and robot chicks.
It molded every. I'll tell you what, Weird Science is the reason why we have all the shit we have today.
No matter what happens, though, Russ, I can call you Russ, right?
I don't know, Jim.
Trust in Russ.
I pulled your nipple off.
That's okay. I got more. But I think a lot. No matter what, AI. No matter what innovations we create, it'll always start out as something we can fuck. That did not go where you thought it was going to go, did it?
Deep.
Dudes will. I'm telling you, already we've got they want to create robot women.
What if CAT really spelled dog?
What the fuck was that from? Was that
What?
Airheads? Was that from the movie Airheads?
Revenge of the Nerds. Damn it. Ogre, come on.
That's right.
Ogre. He's getting high at the end and he's hanging out with the nerds. He goes, and they all say some really trippy
Introspective.
shit, introspective shit for the stars. And he goes, what if CAT really spelled dog?
The best part was the
Everyone's
fact
like,
that
wow, that's really deep, Ogre.
Yeah, they were all like, yeah.
They're like, wow, that's really deep.
It's true, though. What if it does? What if it does?
I don't even know.
No, I think they were just high as fuck.
Yeah, they probably were.
Yeah.
That's
For
like,
sure.
That's
But
like
no.
driving, man.
We've had those conversations
I think
before.
we're
Our whole
dude.
generation was everything we've done. I mean, all the nerds in the world are now all the richest assholes in the world.
Good for them. They got picked on and bullied. Now they're the top dogs.
Yeah, Bill Gates had a pie thrown in his face.
But now, there's the soapbox thing popping up again.
Okay, come on, get on it.
The nerds were so mad because they were basically made fun of their whole life. They were persecuted against, and now that they have all the money and all the power, now they're doing the same things back to the other people.
We didn't release viruses on them.
Wow. This segment not brought to you by anything associated with Soscenic photography.
This segment brought to you by
Holy
Pfizer. Wow.
Holy shit.
That just reminded me of The Jerk.
All of a sudden, the on-air sign's going to start going flickering.
Yeah, we just lost our feed.
FBI, open up! Now they're pretty busy right now. No King's Day going on.
Yeah.
What is that? I've not.
Let's
paid
not get on that topic.
Okay. I've not paid.
Yeah, it's all.
I know it's a touchy subject, but
I feel like it's all paid for.
No.
It's shilly.
No, they want you to believe that, but that's
Shilly.
There's a lot of bad stuff going on that's not affecting us, so we're just not going to comment on it. 'Cause
Okay.
It doesn't affect us.
Yes, Daddy.
So
There's a lot of bad things going
stop it.
There are a lot of bad things in the world happening,
Yes.
but not right now. Right here, everybody's good and
On the
happy.
Gray Beard Podcast,
Yeah,
we're
we're all
positively
happy.
charged thanks to Soscenic Photography.
That's
on.
right.
Yo.
Heyo.
Like you had your friend make a voiceover for you. I think I might have you do one for me.
I have quite the. I have been told I have quite the advertising voice.
You
But
do.
I can change voices and do all kinds of stuff up my whole life, but I just
Yeah.
I never really. I guess I should be a voiceover. Maybe I'll talk to my voiceover buddy and see.
Dude, you have an in, bro. If he hasn't like tapped you yet, like that's not what I meant to say. I'm just saying, like, if he hasn't like come to you and said, "Hey, man, do you know that you would like strike fucking hot gold?"
I don't
here?
know. Now everything's AI. I mean, they're doing voiceover work with AI now, so
Of course,
I think that unfortunately, it won't affect our generation, but I think my daughter's generation won't have any
maybe.
voiceovers.
I would love to be an anime voice actor. That's what I want to do. That's my goal now. I just want to do that. So I can go to cons and people are like, who the fuck is that guy? I'm like, oh, I'm this character. And they're like,
I'm Troll.
yeah. I was troll number 3 in Demon Slayer.
Make your most famous noise.
Yeah. It's pretty much. That was me. Remember? What was your favorite line from the show? Fireball!
It's Afghanistan animation.
Yeah. Are we winding down, folks?
Did you know what that? Do you know what that line's from?
Uh-uh.
It's Afghanistan animation.
It's
No.
what?
It's Afghanistan animation.
Never heard it.
Afghanistan animation?
I mean, you asked him, so it must be
No.
something military.
No.
Oh.
No, I don't.
Never seen Super Troopers?
Ah, fuck.
Oh, I
People
have.
keep bringing up Super Troopers.
Johnny Chimpo, come on.
Dude, I was born in 97.
I mean, with that mustache, though, you could have been a Super Trooper.
Watch out. Free rides.
The key to a good household is, what is it? No.
Who wants a mustache ride?
A penis in your asshole. I'm going to grab coffee real quick. You guys talk amongst
Coffee with
yourself.
Jim. Hey.
And plus, I have to air out my.
Grievances?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
With
feel
your
my.
say.
I can feel my
Really
pelvic
hopeful that
bones
the,
spreading apart.
Really hoping that everyone has tuned the fuck out at this point.
No, this is where they all join in.
Yeah, that's terrible. Oh,
I was honestly waiting for Kiara to jump in and say Happy Father's Day to you, but you know.
that's not going to happen. She's too busy. That girl works her butt off. Hey, why is
What?
beard and podcast not capitalized?
I know.
What in the
I
fuck,
know.
guys?
Was it me?
Like,
Was it me?
It was really fast. I did it really fast. I'm surprised it's spelled properly.
the Gray Bald podcast. That'd be hilarious. If I join into the podcast, it'll be the Gray Bald podcast because it'll be gray beard and I'll be the bald.
There you go. We'll have to do a special now. It's the Gray Bald Beard podcast.
Yeah, and his hair's not that color anymore.
No, it's more like Guy Fieri. No, it's all gray.
Yeah, that is more like a Guy Fieri kind of. How did you make coffee
Today.
that fast?
It was already made. I just poured it.
Coffee with Jim.
Well, first of all,
Slurp, slurp.
Get back
slurp,
on that
slurp.
saddle. Get back up on that horse, Jim.
thank you to Canva. I have a logo. But did you see the new logo?
When did Guy Fieri become a...
Well, my hair kind of used to look like that before I started growing it back out.
Is your new logo the reason why your account's named Jim now and not Graybeard Podcast?
It says Jim.
I couldn't freaking find you because it says Jim now
What?
instead of Graybeard Podcast.
Because you shared all your contacts with Instagram.
Probably. I don't
Your
know.
logo's red now, though, by
Yeah, it's flames.
it's flames. You're on fire.
Yeah, pull up my thing.
You're on
Pull
fire.
up
Where's
your
the
thing.
campfire sounds?
Pull up
Oh,
my.
shit, wrong mouse.
What? That could have been bad.
Could have been. Oh fuck. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to there. Yeah. You're gonna have
you
to
go.
search it up because it's on my photography page, and I don't know how to log in on here with. Oh no,
Oh, wait. Gray Beard Photoco?
no,
Oh,
it's
you-
down there. Yeah, see, AI did that.
there you go. Russell.
I like it. I like that.
So
the
now you
hair's
can't
fire,
You can't complain about.
but it's not gray.
No, but I told AI, I put my picture in, and I said, it changed the font, and I said, put this in there with a cool font, and it did. And I said, put headphones on him. It did. And then I said, now add flames. And that's what it did. And I was like, fuck it, keep it. Done.
I do like that, but I don't understand why it comes up as Jim on my phone, though.
I also did STP because of this. Right here.
Oh, right there.
You see that?
Yeah. What? Jim.
Jim. But I did RGB, like the STP logo. That's on my Facebook page.
I think it's sleek.
Yeah, you might be able to find it on my reels. I don't fucking know. Probably not though.
Probably not.
Mama must have left or something. I don't know. Or she's asleep. The dogs are barking.
The dogs are barking.
Yeah, so is my bunghole.
Wow. Is that seat really that uncomfortable?
It's very uncomfortable. Want to swap?
Yeah. Sure.
Nah. What are you doing over there, Russ?
He's editing photos right now.
I'm busy.
Hey,
I'm busy
Russ.
creating the next viral reel.
Whenever I hear Russ, I think of National Lampoon's Vacation.
I'm trying to see how many jobs I've lost by the podcast I just
Oh,
put.
God. It isn't that bad.
Well, we lost Segway as an advertiser. All the
that be
while they
hilarious
lost their leader.
If I got an email saying, we were on the fence and we were going to contact you, and then you started talking shit. So now you're fucked.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all right. I'd rather have one wheel anyways.
What? Wow.
What? One wheel's way cooler. It almost looks like a skateboard. You don't look like a poser.
I don't get how those things stay up.
One wheels or
Yeah.
Segways?
It is amazing to me, delivery people today, where they will leave packages now.
Oh, did you get a package?
No, I sent my Father's Day package to my father, and it left it on his back patio by the gutter.
So it's soaked.
Interesting.
Yeah, me too. I sent one to my dad.
Wow.
Good Lord, sorry. I'm just so blown away by where they left it.
Yeah.
Was it Amazon? Fucking Amazon.
This segment of the broadcast is not brought to you by Jeff Bezos.
I literally have a
but if he
video.
wants to, give me a call, Jeffy.
I have a video on for my doorbell camera of somebody like throwing a fucking package out my front door.
What the hell?
You should put that on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm more appalled at the DoorDash people. I have a storm door. They like to put it right on the ground in front of the storm door.
So that when you open the storm door, it knocks the food over?
All my drinks are toast. Every time.
So
And I put in my notes.
Do you not look at it?
Do I not look at it?
Like, I understand
How
what
am
they're
I
doing.
can't open the door, and they put it right in front of the door.
Dude, you gotta walk around the house, bro, through the backyard.
Yeah, I would
Come on,
literally
bro.
have to walk outside the backyard.
I have from time to time delivered food,
Okay.
and
You're like,
people
no
with
tip.
people with common sense usually will not do stuff like that. They'll usually put it in a spot where the door won't
Yeah.
knock it over.
But 9 times out of 10, they don't have any common sense. Maybe that's why they're working for Uber
Put it
Eats.
in your notes.
I
Don't
do.
block the door.
I do. I'm very nice. I'm like, if you come up the driveway, go at an angle because it's very steep and it will rip your bumper off. A. B, put it in one of the chairs sitting next to the door, please. And don't knock because I have dogs and they will go ape shit. It literally says
and they
that.
still knock, and they still.
My favorite
what can you
thing
do?
is when you order the food on DoorDash and immediately you get somebody ping you saying that they're going to pick up the food now. They're headed to that destination. And then they sit there for an hour and then half. And you're like, it's fast food. What are you doing? You get your food and there's like shit missing. Like, did you just literally sit there and eat half my food, you prick?
Damn.
I mean, I get a lot of free
I've heard
food
of
from
that.
DoorDash because of that.
I've heard
Really?
of that.
Oh, yeah, because DoorDash doesn't want to argue with you.
No, they don't.
If you put in a complaint, they will immediately give you a refund.
Wow.
Yeah. It's I don't. It must be. I hate to say it must be different over here on this side of the river.
Probably. What are you trying to say?
Wow.
What are you trying to say,
What do you mean,
Russ?
you people?
Come on, Russ. Elaborate.
I come from Rivertown.
Oh, shit. Here it is, folks. He's getting classist
He's
on
about
us.
to get on a Segway.
We've been in all Ponte Vedra.
Oh,
so nice areas.
Pinky's out.
Great
no,
Poupon.
it's-
Fancy.
I just know from personal experience how we treat, because we did that from time to time, just making a little extra money. how we treat our customers,
Mm.
and we never do that stuff. We pay attention to the notes. And
Yeah, well,
we
you're
always
not
say
like
that
the
stuff,
normal
but-
person.
True, but it is interesting to see how
The average person, I should say.
the average person does
You're
food
normal.
delivery, and they don't think like the younger generations don't just use common sense. They know really a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They do not know common sense
No, they
whatsoever.
don't. They really
Oh, that
don't.
door would knock over my food. Maybe don't block the door. Oh, maybe I'll deliver it on time, or maybe I won't throw it at the freaking door. Like,
Well, when the bag smells like straight weed, I imagine that might have something to do with it.
That's why half your French fries were missing.
Yeah, it could hinder the performance level of
where are
said-
you ordering French fries from? Because most of those places seal
Wherever.
their bags now.
Huh?
Most of the places are sealing their bags now before
yeah.
the driver actually gets them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was getting to the point where it was
Well, a lot of times what they do is they'll get the food
so
and then
terrible.
they'll
Can you imagine? I couldn't. The audacity of somebody to actually be a food deliverer and actually eat the food you're delivering. Like, are you kidding?
It'd be fucked up.
Oh, they've done it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times what they do is they'll pick up my food and then they'll take another job and they'll go pick up their food and then they'll go and drive it to them and then they'll come back with my food.
Well, they only do well.
So my shit's cold as fuck.
If you're paying attention to the order that you're supposed to do it in, they actually prevent you from having that issue because they actually set up the deliveries. When you have multiple deliveries in one, it tells you which one to deliver first. If you don't listen to that, that's on you. But
Right. I was just going to say, yeah, no, these people go against the grain. These are pioneers and fuck ups.
Well,
They
I'm sure
are-
there's nobody at Uber Eats or DoorDash going, make sure you run that route, the way we designated you to, or we're going to take your health insurance away.
You'd be shocked.
They don't have health insurance.
Is there really?
people have work ethics though?
Yeah, but is there people at, what I'm saying is there like people at DoorDash or Uber Eats that are like, hey, don't do that. Like managing people. Yeah, that's the issue.
You call
I-
them-
No
you call the help
accountability.
that they're like, oh
No
yeah, you don't have to
accountability.
worry about that. We'll just send them more food. Okay.
Yeah. So fuck.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
You playing with your mics again?
I am. You want one? You want to play with one?
That's the second mic he's played with today.
You want to hold my mic?
I got the real mics.
Or do you want
the
the
DJI ones?
I mean, I've got the Rode.
I like the DJ. Oh shit!
Did you drop my? Did you just drop some shit? Was it the magnet? It's probably the magnet. Oh no, that was the Droid connector is what you dropped.
You think I don't know what I'm doing?
It's okay. I don't use Droid. People that use Droid give me the ick.
What the heck is this?
Oh, that you just go here. Let me see. I'll show you. No, that goes in here. That's how you connect the receiver. Flip it around. There you go. You connect the receiver with that guy. You'll figure it out at one of these millenniums. Just
He's
throw
only
it in
got
there and
2
close the door.
decades left, so he better hurry.
Bueller? What?
Here, Jesus fuck. Fowler, give me that thing.
O'Doyle rules.
You can't just follow the example from the other one.
I did follow the example from the other one.
Yeah, that's,
The other one was shown out, so I did the show out.
Yeah, you got one for Apple and one for Droid.
Do people still have Droid?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Why?
Why?
I know we all have
Sound
like
like Ron White.
instant
This
messaging
segment
now.
not brought to you by Android.
I mean, at least the fact that we can now see the text bubble when they're typing, and that they can respond. They can like.
If you're green, I ain't talking to you. That means you're the enemy.
I'm just saying, that's a one way to fuck up a group chat.
It is.
Yeah, because you can't send pictures to Android.
You can now,
Oh, you can now. Oh, well, that's.
and you can react.
Then you get
to
instant
what
message.
they say,
Oh, wow.
and they see it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Who paid for that technology?
Fuck if I know.
Was
But
it Apple or Android?
apparently,
Pegasus.
the text messages are less secure now that we're on the SMS, which is what droids are on. It's better, but
If they tell you it's better, it's not.
yeah, it's supposedly it's faster and better, but Apple was always on the MMS,
It's
like multimedia.
his thoughts actually hit the brakes.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Skirt.
It does. Skirt.
Well, wasn't that what the Patriot Act was for? Make
Patriot Act.
Make everything more accessible. They can spy on you.
No.
I don't think that's what the Patriot Act was for.
I don't know, but anything that's called the Patriot Act or like something when they try
the
to
Green New Deal.
they try to tell you that it's like
They should change the name of this podcast to Three Guys Who Don't Know Shit.
that for sure.
don't know a fuck.
I don't know anything. I don't know shit about Jack.
I don't even know where my asshole is.
I mean, I know where mine is. It's
Now we're an
quite-
episode of Ozark. I don't know shit about fuck.
That's right. I never even watched Ozark. Is that a good show?
Good Lord.
Never seen it.
You need to watch Ozark, and you need to watch Dirty Grandpa.
Okay.
That's
about
your
Game
guys'
of-
homework.
what
You
about
guys
Game
both
of
have homework.
Thrones? Is
And
that-
I expect both of you to have answers to those two things when the next
Not
time
gonna
I come on
happen.
the podcast. Better fucking happen.
If they make Ozark an anime, I'm on it. That's all I've been consuming lately.
You know, there comes a time in every man's life where you need to grow up just a little bit.
These are grown-up
And
cartoons.
stuff-
What are you talking about? This is anime. It's
Look
not
what you
cartoons.
just said. You just said cartoons.
They're not even cartoons. That's
You know, the last time I
Shameful.
watched
You
a
just dead named
cartoon.
anime.
I did.
Wow, how fucking dare you?
You know, the last time I watched a cartoon.
I was watching Bluey on the way over here.
What were you watching? Popeye?
You were itching your daddy's pants.
Oh man, I just like it better. I like it better than people shows, like live action
Because
shows.
it painfully reminds you of the world.
No, what? That's
People
too deep.
shows.
No, it's too deep.
It's too deep.
No,
Things are on my list.
huh?
Nothing.
I just realized what you said. That deserves a rim shot for sure.
But of course, little slow.
Are you satisfied now?
No,
I told you, he works for me.
slow. I'm gonna start using these pencils over here.
You're gonna lob him at him.
You don't
Rim
sign my
shots.
Christmas bonus, young man.
You know what I need? I just need I'm gonna get a little thing over here on the desk.
So that I can just hit it whenever I say a joke.
You can hit it whenever you want. I also want
Things also hurt my.
I also want a cough button on this side.
Like a vape / cough button.
Yeah, so I can just
mute
go,
yourself.
and you can't hear it. That's what I want. That's all I want.
All I'm envisioning is Jason Bateman, having that big giant bong hit when he's trying to act cool, and it just keeps coming out of him.
Which one was that? Was that from Ozark?
No, that was from. What movie was that from? He didn't do that in Horrible Bosses.
Didn't see that either.
What
I think
movie
it was Horrible Bosses.
Was it horrible? It was one of the Horrible Bosses. Like,
I think so.
I can hit the bong, and he
Yeah.
hits the bong, and it just keeps. Falling.
Yeah.
I think the last movie I saw him in was Hancock.
Wow,
He was
that
good
was a
in-
good movie too.
Yeah, he was good. It was okay. It would have been better. Could have been better.
Did he play the cuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was kind of a cuck. Yeah. What's
My
the
father has officially found the package.
Okay,
Hey,
good. Crisis
there you go.
averted.
Just had to walk around the house a couple times.
Yeah.
Fucking
They
Amazon.
put it in the tree in the backyard.
It's
Yeah,
inside
right next
the
to
80
the
gutter.
years old and he can't walk.
Right
so
next
it's
to the
great,
cat.
thanks.
We had to
It's
call
on the
fucking
roof.
Firefighters to come get it. Shit.
We gotta call 911 to get this package out the tree because he tossed it up there like an idiot.
Why do we all sound like Ron White
Foghorn Leghorn.
when we start talking like rednecky?
Well, we've all been around exposed to Jacksonville for a little bit too long now, so
Have you seen that
everybody
show?
knows a friend that talks like that.
There's a new show out. It's called Tires.
Tires?
Yeah, with
I love
Shane
tires.
Gillis.
Shane Gillis,
Yeah. He said there's lines in that show that he ripped off directly from
Ron White.
Joe Rogan, like straight out of
Wow.
that.
You went Ron White?
But
Wait,
he went
Ron
Joe
White
Rogan?
was in the show.
But you talking about he ripped it from Rogan's bits or
No, from his podcast,
Ah,
which is hilarious.
good.
Which they've all stolen from You Might Be a Redneck from.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. What's his name?
Jeff
Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff
You
Foxworthy.
might be a redneck.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
If your family tree goes straight up.
I am not smarter than a fifth grader. I hate to say it. Sorry, boys. I'm not.
Well, you've proven that multiple times.
Yeah, at least in this evening, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Live on TV.
Live on TV.
Well, we had to rename the show to Three Guys Who Don't Know Fuck.
Are you shitting my dick?
And who shit my pants?
Yeah, this.
Let's rename the podcast Who Shit My Pants.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it this far, I appreciate you for sitting around listening to us bullshit.
And we sincerely apologize.
This is what happens
for
when
Jim's voice.
This is what happens when three men who didn't get naps today that are in their, well, two of us are anyways.
Yeah, speak for yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah, don't age him that
I have
quickly.
at
Come on,
least-
let him at least have another decade
I
before
have
he
at
gets
least
even
4
close.
decades left, motherfuckers. All
Well,
right.
He's
you
got
for sure
4
did not get a
decades.
nap.
No, I did not.
But this is what dads do when we sit around bullshitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should just be called Dad's bullshitting.
Yeah,
Who shit my pants?
front porch sitting.
Dad's bullshitting about who shit their pants and don't know fuck.
Yeah, or just call it "Get Off My Grass."
And what's in the Patriot Act? God damn it!
No. Oh boy.
Well, I heard they filled that thing full of a bunch of patriots
Yeah, it's
and spy on you.
it's a new movie with Mel Gibson.
Wow. Called The Constitution.
Yeah,
Did you say constipation?
Constitution
No, I said Constitution.
it's like all of his movies are like the same character, just in different time periods.
Yeah, different continents.
He's like a racist in every time period.
Actually, that was a Logic album, wasn't it? Isn't that like- isn't that like
Logic out? Who's Logic?
the rapper Logic?
Oh, I
The
know
Everybody
you-
album was it was the character and the main character of the story because every album was a concept album. The main character
Yeah.
basically had to be reincarnated every time so that he lived every single
yeah.
person of race, creed, color, sexual orientation
The incredible true story.
to
and-
understand exactly what it felt like to be everyone
Mm.
until he can then successfully move on to wherever he's going.
You know, that reminded me of a theory I had. And you guys, folks, they're really going to love this.
like, wow,
Waiting on this
okay.
I did.
Scientology pamphlet.
No, but the people are going to really like this, I think, especially dog lovers. They say all dogs go to heaven, right? Well, my theory is,
Spelled CAT.
based on what you just said, I think we keep coming back and coming back and coming back in different lives and different people's bodies and until you get it right. And when you get it right and you die on that last death when you did it right, that one time, you come back as a dog so you can just fucking have the most chill-ass life that you've ever had in your life.
How many dogs have you met that are chill? Dogs are the most obnoxiously crazy all the time animals.
but you don't got to work.
Except for the big giant.
You get
like
you get
golden
free
retriever
food,
things.
free lodging, free pets, I mean, everything is there for you. People love you, unconditional love, and then you die and you go to heaven. And so I think it's just a bunch of fucking dogs running around heaven.
DAWGS or DOGS?
DOG, baby.
That's my dog.
That's my dog.
Yeah, no
Sorry.
dogs.
Georgia Bulldogs.
No, this is dogs.
Go dogs.
Not dogs, but dogs.
This is really going.
I mean, that makes sense because I would shit in one spot of the house too every time.
Yeah. I do now. I mean, it just happens to be the toilet, but I think there's something there, fellas. I think there's something there.
I
I
think we
wish I
found
was
it.
a dog so I could shit in the same spot in the house every time. Oh wait, I do shit in the same
wait.
spot. I guess does that make me a dog?
I'm not going to shit in that rain. What the fuck? I'm
Yeah.
just shit right here on this 1/4 carpet.
Oh Lord, if
Fucking dogs.
if my wife and daughter are watching this right now, I'm in serious trouble.
No, you'll be fine. They're probably like, "Oh, MG," and they turned it off. But it would be nice if you could chime in, because I'd love to know what y'all think of this last bit of this conversation here.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
so much.
I think we're winding down. I think we can call it a night. What do you say, Patty?
Yeah. I'm
What do you
hungry.
say?
Nobody wants to talk to me no more. Okay, fine, I'll leave.
I'm
No.
hungry.
Oh, he's hungry.
I'm hungry.
Oh, hungry. What you gonna eat?
If I really told you, listen, dude, my dad's here. All right, I can't really say that.
You gonna eat some ass? What? Been munching on them Zens all night.
And cue.
Wow.
Hey, man. I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
I hope you have a happy Father's Day tomorrow.
Same to you. Same to
And
you.
thanks for coming and hanging with us tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for putting up with my ridiculousness.
No, dude, you're great. I love to hear your perspective. Like I said, you inspire me to get out there, and I want to go shoot right now, but it's too dark, and I'm a natural light photographer. So, ladies and gentlemen, go follow Soscenic Photography, and then go follow all of his accounts, and stay up on top of that because he's talking about starting a whole nother account. So it's gonna lose. I'm gonna get lost.
You're number 9, I think. Now.
But
Thank you.
yeah, go follow all the things, and then follow us and do the subscribe and like and share and watch the videos and all those things. And the audio's coming. All right, get off my back. I've been busy.
Bye.
Yeah, get off his back.
Yeah. Until next time. Happy Father's Day. I love you guys.
See ya. See ya.
Now I can get up off this chair.